Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PUDcast with Jason and Mike. I'm Jason.
And I'm Mike.
And we're coming to you from the PUDCave, located here in Game Swap in beautiful downtown Lincoln in the great state of North Carolina. Mikey, what's up, bro?
Oh, man, it's already started.
It's already started, man, before we hit record. God damn it, man. Listen, we got David Two Dog Hayes in the house, man. Two dogs.
Pudsters, Pudamaniacs. So great to be here, guys. I'm such a fan of the PUDcast.
Well, brother, we are glad you're here. And I'll tell you what, man, why don't you put over your podcast a little bit, brother? Let's go ahead and get that, let's go ahead and get it out there.
Let's get that out of the way.
Let's
get all
do
the
it.
nonsense going.
Our disclaimers.
I do have a podcast that I'm doing down in Rock Hill. It's called This Is a Work. It's a pay-per-view review podcast for the WWE. Runs about an hour and a half, 2 hours, where me and my co-host Chris Barnes, we basically just criticize wrestling. We've been getting negative here as of late.
A little bit.
But we try to stay positive. It just, when you got certain entities in wrestling, it just happens.
I love it when David Hayes or Two Dogs, I will refer to you from this point forward as either Two Dogs or Dogs. I love it when Dogs is like, Finger, you really ought to give wrestling another shot. You really ought to give WWE another shot. All right. And then I listen to the podcast. This is the work. This pay-per-view sucked. This was, I give it a 0.3 Meltzers, and I'm like, well, shit, man. I don't really want to watch it now.
It's hard to sell it.
It's kind of hard to sell, man.
It is. That's why our listenership is so low. It's
But it's wrestling, man. It's
yes,
wrestling.
right.
It is. Yeah. It's gonna have its ups and downs, and I don't know.
Still waiting on the ups.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
They're waiting on the ups too, as far as ratings go.
All right. It makes me nervous.
Did y'all hear, man, that this last Raw, I believe it was the last one, was actually the lowest viewed Raw ever?
Which is the second time that's happened this year.
Really,
Yeah,
really,
this year.
man. This is the second drop. I did not know that.
Which is surprising because, I thought the Raw before was the worst one I've probably seen in a long time.
Really.
But
This
last
one was.
I didn't think it was that
This
bad.
one was a decent one. It's basically the Finn Balor show.
Yeah.
Right.
As far as
Because he's
that
commissioner now, right?
No.
Or general manager or
goes.
whatever.
No, Baron Corbin. Oh, you were way out of
Brother,
you're
I'm
way
out of the loop.
Baron
I'm out
who?
of the loop, man.
Baron Von Raschke.
Now, I would watch then. Now, you bring the Baron in, bro. I'm on it, man.
Well, he's got a shaved head and.
Oh, okay. Does a good step?
No,
Nobody's perfect.
not that I know of.
Wow.
Yeah, there we go.
That's how we're doing this, huh? Okay. All right.
Obviously, that's a joke, people. Jesus Christ.
That's
Jesus.
Jason. That's
Yeah.
Jason JBL Finger at PO Box.
Yeah, for real, huh? For real. Obviously, it's a joke. Obviously, I'm joking. But, yeah, man, I'm saying last time I was listening to I haven't listened to your latest podcast. I do it when I do my afternoon walks, and I haven't been walking as much here lately. I started a new job this week, so, I'm still readjusting. But I know, man, it seems like the only pay-per-view that's really gotten good reviews has been Evolution, it seems like.
Evolution did very well for me.
I did that on purpose. I did this on purpose.
I know you did. I heard Mikey took over it with Evolution. What's it? Wow. What'd you hate about it?
I didn't think it was a good pay-per-view. I didn't think the Crown Jewel pay-per-view was a good pay-per-view.
Crown
And it
Jewel
has
was
nothing to
awful.
do with male-female because Crown Jewel is all-male pay-per-view, and it was terrible.
It was terrible.
I did not enjoy Evolution.
Mikey, would you
all.
say that the shows were equal? Would you say that? I'm being honest, man.
Yeah, they were equal.
The
I thought
quality
they were
doesn't.
equally terrible.
That's what I was kind of getting.
There was nothing that I could say that I walked away with was wow.
Really.
I can give you.
Now the last pay-per-view with oh my God, what was it? It was Survivor Series.
Survivor Series.
Brands.
Mm-hmm.
The Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey match was the match.
Really? Really?
Man.
I thought that was how I felt. It's like, God, this is something I haven't seen in a long time.
So surprising for Charlotte, man.
Yep.
Charlotte and Rousey, because Rousey's greener than goose shit.
Right.
But,
Oh, for sure.
Right.
but she gets it, man. I think she really gets it.
Yeah.
I think she's one of those people that just has it ingrained, man. You know what I'm saying? I think some people just get wrestling, and I think Ronda's one of those people.
She'll take an ass whipping. Yeah, as a parent.
Boy, that much was clear.
Yeah.
That's
And I
But
actually,
her selling is definitely something that needs to be worked on.
right.
a little bit.
Because she pops up a little too quick off of stuff. I mean, she should have just been stretchered out at that point after all that.
I like her reaction, Tom, to selling. She reacts well.
Uh-huh.
But that's kind of where we're at, though.
I was just about to say the same thing, man. Isn't that kind of across the board, though?
Yeah.
The psychology and selling is kind of
we're kind of
tapering
in this
off.
era where it's like, well, we only need you to sell at the longest for about 30, 40 seconds.
Right,
and then we
right.
got to pop up.
Yeah.
We got to get to the next move.
We're going to hit you with 15 DDTs, but then we're going to use a roll-up to pin you. I mean, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
It's a little,
Yeah.
That's kind of my gripe. And we'll get into this maybe a little later on in the future. We'll break this kind of stuff down a little bit more. But I do got something I want to tell you guys, something I haven't told either one of y'all. I am into a current WWE superstar right now. I'm a fan. I watched some promos and some vignettes. I'm still not 100% sold on the delivery. Dude, I'm a Becky Lynch fan. I think Becky Lynch is the shit, man. I mean, I heard some of her
You're
promos.
a fan of the man, huh?
Is she a man? You never can tell nowadays, bro. I just don't know. I mean,
Well, we got to catch you up, man. That's her gimmick now.
she's the man?
She's the man.
Okay.
man.
Cool deal, man. I mean, I watched some some promos. I thought she was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was into it, man. Yeah. I haven't really watched her work. Once again, I'm more of a promo guy, more of a psychology guy anyway. But I did like what I was seeing, and as of right now, I'm a fan. Yeah.
I think Becky Lynch is a strong worker. Not the strongest on the female roster.
Would you say Charlotte would be?
Without question.
Right.
Without
right.
question.
What little bit I've watched, man, of her, she's impressive.
I like Charlotte.
Man.
I like Charlotte. Charlotte to me still has that stiffness, that awkwardness that she
Needs to loosen up.
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
little.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's basically like when you're watching a prize fighter, and let's take it back to Ronda Rousey. When she was in the UFC, when you always saw her, she came out there, had her stance ready.
Sure,
and
right.
It
Right.
was
Yeah.
stiff, man.
Which is what
And
they're supposed to.
She bowled over seven women, and then comes up against Holly Holm, and Holly's
Looser.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
slick.
yeah,
She's
man.
pumping a
Right.
jab.
Flows.
She's throwing a kick.
More like a
Flows.
dance.
Yeah.
More
just
like a dance.
flows.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with you. That's where Charlotte is right now.
I think-
I like her to loosen up a little.
Right.
Tell you, the person that I've always loved and really like here, but of course she's kind of been buried along the way, is but her promo skills, that's what hurts her the most. Is Asuka.
Right.
Yeah.
Asuka flows.
Right.
Asuka's great. I love everything she does, but it goes back in the comparison of the great Muda.
Right.
Muda was great. Muda flowed.
But he didn't speak. But that was kind of part of his gimmick, though.
But it hurt him as far as
But I'm a devil advocate that, Mike. Unless you look at him when he was with Gary Hart, when he had that mouthpiece, that manager, man,
Right.
it made him
Yeah.
even more scary. It made him even more of a threat.
Right.
That's why
I
we need
agree.
managers. I think a good women's manager would be pretty awesome right now.
I think if we had one more Paul Heyman type manager,
Right.
I'd like to see it be a female. We've
Yeah,
never had
sure.
a strong
Female.
Paul Heyman female manager.
Right.
We've had a couple that
Vicky?
get close.
Vicky Guerrero.
Come on.
Now we did have Sherry, but Sherry was more of a valet though.
Sherry was a ballet. Sherry was a wrestler.
Yeah,
Sherry,
yeah.
Sherry worked. She was one of the boys.
She and a true legend.
What about
in her
Leo
own right.
Rush?
There you go.
Alexander York.
There you go. Speaking of guys, I don't know if you know. I think we may have talked about this. I'm sorry. I drew a blank there. Elias.
Oh yeah, the guy with the guitar. I know
Yeah.
you're a big fan, dog.
Love me
Yeah.
some Elias.
Elias
Just went
is great.
face.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was hearing about
That promo with him, on Leo Rush, calling the DSS like son.
So great. I love him so much. I need to see an IC title on his waist, man.
Yeah, for sure.
The way I understand it, man, obviously I don't watch it. I'm not familiar like you guys are, but apparently this guy is over. I mean, I've been hearing
for
that,
sure.
on the websites. I still go to, some of the websites and stuff. And I know me and you dogs talk about it. And,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Well,
he's really
WWE
over.
stands for Walk with Elias.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go. That's perfect, man. Well, man, let's talk about something that wasn't so perfect.
What would that be, pray tell, Finger?
Well, that was let's take it back to the
Is
year
that
of
a
our
subject?
Lord. Yeah, y'all like that little segue here? I'm getting better. I'm getting better at segues. What we're here to talk about today, if y'all recall, back in 1993, I believe that's the correct year. Pudsworth, we may need you to do a little research today, man. Just don't sit over there drinking beer in your tuxedo, Pudsworth. Man, I swear to God.
And why, it hasn't even started snowing yet. Why does he have white stuff on the shoulders of his tux? Why? That's weird.
Well,
Wow.
That's how Pudsworth wakes up in the morning.
Okay.
We have somebody who drinks a little bit. We have somebody who sniffs a little bit.
Getting a little booger sugar in the morning. Are we?
Booger sugar.
That's Dare at P.O. Box.
Send all correspondence to This Is a Work. Rock Hill, South Carolina. No, man, we're going to take this back to 1993. And this is basically when Arn Anderson comes back to the WCW.
Ah, Jesus.
And when Arn comes back, he's supposed to come back with the man he left with, which we all know is Tully Blanchard. A little backstory. Tully and Arn were original Four Horsemen members. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, and I'm sure everybody else's opinion, this could almost be considered fact. The best lineup of the Horsemen were always Arn, Tully, Rick, and whoever. I personally think Barry Windham was the best fourth Horseman.
I agree.
Some people,
I'd say Ole.
yeah, a lot of people say Ole. I can see that.
Ole's my second.
Mine too. Mine goes Barry, Ole, then Lex, actually, as far as that goes. But what the WCW tried to do was reinvent the Four Horsemen in 1993 when Arn came back. Unfortunately, Tully Blanchard failed a drug test. The way I understand, I may be getting some of my facts, kind of misconstrued or whatnot.
That's about right.
But the way I understand it, Tully failed the drug test and was unable to come to WCW.
That was back in, 90?
I think 93?
No, 90.
Oh,
that
it
was the
90.
first
It
time.
was about 90.
Okay, I
That
got
was
you.
the first
I
time.
got you.
And it was my understanding he failed the drug test for Vince,
Right.
which
Right,
got
right.
him fired from Titan,
Yes.
and then WCW heard
They
that he
wouldn't
failed
even
the
Got
drug
wind of
test,
that.
They-
which I don't know why we waited until now to start having a.
And they wanted to cut the contract payment.
Right,
Yeah.
cut the call. Right.
Yeah.
It always boils back down to
Yeah.
money, man.
Yeah,
It really
absolutely.
does. But what WCW did, which to me, in my opinion, is one of the most, well, I mean, honest to God, man, just one of the most shittiest things you could do to wrestling fans. They started teasing the reunion of the Four Horsemen.
Now, this would have been in 93.
Yes.
Fast forward to 93.
Yes.
When Flair had come back from WWF.
Exactly.
Was it 89?
Yeah.
Well, that's the first.
That's the first time Tully was supposed to be back.
Okay.
Right.
And they wound up going with Sting.
Right.
That's another
we
dark
can
day.
get into that one.
Yeah, we'll talk
Sting-a-ling.
about that at some other time. Yeah.
But at Slamboree, 93, there were, because Flair had his show, the Flair for the Gold.
Right.
Arn was there, and Ole had made sporadic appearances, very sporadic. And they were teasing that the Four Horsemen would have their reunion.
Right.
Obviously hinting that it would be Tully.
Be totally right. Because they really pushed that, man. They obviously, in their defense, they never came out and said it would be the original lineup. But boy, howdy, were they not acting like it. I mean, they were being really,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. They were and they were selling it as full blown. This is going to be the original.
The originals. So let me ask you guys. I watched that pay-per-view. What was it? Slamboree, Mike?
Slamboree.
It was
93.
Slamboree. Now, I don't know. Did y'all watch this pay-per-view when it happened? Because I did.
I may at the time where I lived, we couldn't get pay-per-views,
Gotcha.
so I had to wait for the. I almost said DVD. I had to wait for the VHS.
Right.
Kids, VHS
Explain it, yeah.
it's a square, it's a rectangular device that went into these machines called video cassette recorders, or VCRs as we called them back then.
We were so barbaric.
I know. Sometimes they had a remote with it, so that was if you were rich.
Our first VHS actually had a remote with a wire. I mean, you actually had to plug the wire in. And like you'd have it had a wire that you had to plug into the, yeah, man, that was old school.
And it was, it was spiraled, much like the old landline.
The old telephone. See, now mine was a straight wire. But going back to this pay-per-view, man, I watched this pay-per-view for one person and one person only. That was Tully Blanchard.
Yeah.
I was slightly disappointed.
Slightly?
Yeah.
When they brought out none other than the young stallion himself, Paul motherfucking Roma, man. Jesus, Louisa's people. Paul fucking Roma.
Paul Roma.
Paul fucking. You may be asking yourself, who the fuck is Paul Roma? And you would be absolutely justified in that question.
I honestly don't remember this ever happening.
I wish I could forget it, dogs.
I'm glad this is just a dream that you had, and it never actually made it to the airwaves.
This is more like a nightmare, brother. No, this was the most this was the biggest slap in the face to a wrestling fan. Maybe other than the gobbledygooker. I mean, it's up there with me, man. At least the gobbledygooker has some lasting, fond memories in a way. We can look back and kind of laugh.
We can laugh about the gobbledygooker. I actually,
yes.
a few weeks ago, I had, when we did the Survivor Series podcast, I had to, I coached up a couple of people on who the gobbledygooker was. We had a nice little laugh about it. But see, this is not...
This isn't enduring at all.
It's like telling a 9/11 joke. This is not
No.
funny. This is
No.
I'm now. Don't get me
That's
wrong.
harsh. That's harsh.
Don't get
This
me
is the word.
wrong.
P.O.
I'm not.
Rockville, South Carolina.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Paul Roma is.
Calls 9/11.
We need the Reverend Doctor in on this one.
I'm not saying that 9/11 is worse than Paul Roma.
But you're not saying this.
I'm so.
God damn it, man! I knew it. When this show got booked, and Dog's like, "Yeah, man, I can be there." I'm like, "God damn it!" What's gonna happen now? Ladies and gentlemen, obviously we're not making light of 9/11. Okay, please understand. Well, I'm not.
I'm just very upset about Paul Roma.
Never
forget.
Never forget.
God,
Never forget.
Jesus, Louisa.
This could happen again if we're not careful, guys.
Brother, boy, howdy.
Jim Powers is still out there.
Hey, don't say that shit.
Oh.
Don't even put it in the universe, dogs. No. But what I want to talk about today is not only how shitty it was, and I want you guys to get your vent out as well, but I also want to talk about who we think would have been a better replacement. And I'm going to actually throw something on the table that I haven't talked to you guys about. Just seeing we can do this. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. Maybe by the end of this broadcast, let's see if the three of us can actually book one person between the people we throw out. In other words, let's make this show a little bit like a booking meeting. Yeah. Let's try to see if at the end if we can decide on the one. I mean, it's going to be Ted DiBiase. Let's just go ahead and call it. I mean, fuck it, man. Ted DiBiase is going to probably be the fourth horseman. But we're going to discuss it. Spoiler alert, but we're going to discuss it and, maybe talk about it, maybe throw some names out and, see what we think.
I like where your head's at.
I'll tell you what. Let's start out with the history of the Horseman and its members. Of course, originally you have Ric Flair,
Right.
Tully Blanchard, Arn and Ole Anderson.
Right.
And eventually, obviously you got to throw in JJ as the manager.
Sure.
Then eventually they'd pick up Lex Luger.
Right.
Barry Windham. Near the end, Kendall Windham. And
I remember that.
I do not remember that.
I do. I didn't think it was that
Nor
bad.
can you prove that I do.
I didn't think it was that bad, guys. Honest, swear to God, I swear. As far as some of the other changes,
I mean, it was
we've seen,
no Paul Roma, but it wasn't good.
I didn't think Kendall was that
Kendall
bad.
Windham was one of Paul Roma's arms.
But and could still wrestle better. I mean, and could still put on a better
go a
show.
step further and say he was one of Paul Orndorff's arms.
The bad one.
The bad one.
That's fucked up, Mike Payne. That's Mike Payne P.O. Box. We're gonna have so many. We're gonna have more letters than Santa.
Kendall was just not good. And the problem with Kendall, I've always heard that Kendall was like the nicest cat in the world.
Right.
And it makes you feel bad a little to talk smack about him because he's just so
He's little Kendall,
fucking
man. Like
awful.
Little. Well, he ain't little anymore.
All right, so in this world, okay, in this what if world, because this is a what if
This is
show.
a what if. Yeah, this is a what if. Yeah,
show.
yes.
All right, if you were to take Kendall Windham and Sam Houston as two arms, Bill and
Could
Randy
they get out of
Mulkey,
Dusty's belly?
Bill and Randy Mulkey,
Shut up.
Bill and Randy
Don't talk
Mulkey
about Dusty.
as two legs.
It's like Devastator. It's Devastator. Voltron. Fucking Voltron.
This is the worst Voltron cartoon I have ever seen.
I don't know, brother. This might actually be the best. If you, I mean, think about it, man. This might actually work
You
out.
put like the Italian stallion as a center,
as the centerpiece.
As the centerpiece.
Little spaghetti emblem right there.
And the Swords Rocky King. Just beat the
I
shit
don't
out
want to
of
die on the podcast. I'm gonna choke.
This is gonna be a lot of laughing,
God damn
and
it.
a lot of choking, and a lot of spitting out drinks.
But by like any other Saturday, you know?
So okay, so we go through that. We get through that. Everybody's left. The Horsemen disband completely after that.
Right.
Then they come back together, like I said in the '90s. You pick up Sting.
Right.
Do a swerve on Sting. Pick up Sid Vicious.
Ooh. It seems like we're
Pick back Barry.
right.
Pick
Right.
Barry back up.
Right.
Then disband. That's where you see Paul Roma come in on that
Ooh.
that next one. Benoit right after him.
Right.
Mongo.
Right.
Steve Mongo McMichaels.
This is the Monday Night War
Yes.
era right
Yeah.
here. Right. Right.
Then
Or at
they
least
pick
the
up,
apex of the Monday Night War.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. Right. Exactly.
and then they pick up Double J Jeff Jarrett.
Oh boy.
Well, was he?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, he actually was.
Yes, he
a
did. He was
solid
official.
member.
Yeah.
Official solid
Because
member.
there's a little bit of
Then-
controversy as to whether or not, like,
No, he
Arn
did.
will actually go, it's like, look, he was never really a horseman.
Definitely
he
put
was,
down
man. He was official. He didn't stay
official
long.
member.
And honestly, I
Yeah.
can't even speak to it because I remember the angle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was that time when you were flipping back and
Oh,
forth.
yeah.
Right. Right, man.
And I don't actually remember him.
Yeah,
Because it
he
usually
was.
was a feud and them bickering back and forth between Jeff Jarrett and Mongo,
You're right.
which was, you know, that was
Yeah,
cause
I
for
do.
turning
Yeah,
the
I
channel.
remember
And
that.
that's
Because that
also-
was
yeah.
usually a terrible spot.
And WWF was at this point really starting to come up too,
Yeah.
man. It was all kind of coincided where WWF was absolutely the better show
Right.
at this
Oh,
time.
yeah.
You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
So after that, oh my God, who? Oh yeah, they kick Jarrett out and they pick up Henning.
Henning, right.
Henning.
Right.
That's another.
That's
dark
a sore
day.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the whole spot, quote unquote. Sore
Yeah.
spot. Hey, I get it. Sore spot. Yeah.
Ah.
My spot. Hey.
Can I interject for a second, Mike? This reminds me of a story when we were all watching this. What pay-per-view was it? When
One you didn't pay for.
that's a very good point.
David Hayes never paid for pay-per-views in the 1990s, but you did make it up, man. Later in life, I didn't pay for any at your house. So
That's right.
it did level out. You may want to go talk to Chauncey, though. You may still owe him some money.
We brought chips.
He did bring chips.
We
You know?
brought, we
Yeah.
brought chips.
Yeah, there you go. So
And we smashed them over Smiley's head.
Oh Jesus, dude, we cleaned up corn chips for like 4 months, man. Like, sort I had them in places like we didn't even go into. I was like, God damn, man, there's corn chips in the fucking bathroom. Okay,
corn chips. That reminds me of another
Shut up.
story.
I screwed a girl who had toenails that looked like corn
Oh
chips.
my God!
I was young, man.
I want everybody to bear
young.
witness that
Build
I
up for
never
nothing. You just go
said-
ahead.
I just, you know, man. You know,
I never said a word.
I just put it out
except
there.
that I just happened to remember a story involving corn chips. That's
And
all I said.
And I know, and the way you looked at me, the people at home, you know, listen to this can't see the way you looked at me, but I know exactly
So
what
you
meant.
just decided to
put it out there. Put it out
Lay
there.
out there.
Put it out there.
No, but I remember this. I can't remember what pay-per-view it
Fritos.
was. for some reason, War Games is in my head, but I know was
the
it War
turn?
Games?
What were they?
The turn, yeah.
They
the turn
slammed the
was War
cage
Games,
door. Yeah, it was War Games. Yeah, man.
And I want to say we might have been at the tavern.
Probably.
And
Probably
a good friend of ours, Chris Stowe, was there.
right.
And we were all watching it. And then Perfect slammed that cage door on Flair.
Like straight up too, man. Like
Yeah,
slammed
just
it for
saw
real.
his head.
It
Just,
bounced.
yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And
God, I
you
remember that.
turned to Stowe, who is the biggest Flair mark
Ever. Ever.
this side of the globe, with this shit-eating grin as a very slow head turn to the left. And just as calmly as you could said, I think Kurt Hennig is a fantastic horseman. Just as sweet and innocent as you could have. And you saw Stowe's face start to turn like 6 shades of red. It turned plaid.
And I lived. I don't know how I got out of that. He had enough respect for me in my own home, I guess.
Did he?
I'm here. I
yeah.
made it.
That's
You
true.
know?
That's true.
You know, man, that's something I miss so much about that era is, I was 100% NWO. Most of you guys were Flair Horseman fans. You know, I was all about Hollywood Hulk Hogan, man.
Right.
And we got to have those friendly rivalries, within the same organization, brother. And that was fun shit.
Oh, yeah.
We could argue on whether or not they were friendly or not. But
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
we always
you're
talked
right.
a lot of shit.
Oh,
We always talked a lot of shit.
hard shit,
Yeah.
man. Hard shit.
For
You
sure.
know? And it was so funny, man. I know we're getting a little off subject, but just to tell a story about a friend of ours from back in the day, God rest his soul, but I know y'all remember Big Ray Jeffries.
Oh, yeah.
Used to come around, man. When we used to work together, and he had an NWO shirt on. So we started talking, and we became friends. He was just as a big wrestling fan as we all were. Well, man, we got in this big argument one day at work, and it was Stone Cold versus The Rock, and I was a big Rock fan. He loved Stone Cold. Well, we were going back and forth, blah, blah, blah. Well, the manager came down. The supervisor said, what the hell's going on? He thought we was like getting into a real argument, we had like real heat because we were getting loud and, man, fuck you, no, fuck you, Stone Cold, fuck you, Rock, He's like, what's going on? He's like, oh, no, we just talking about wrestling. He's all that old fake shit. Bro, you talk about a swerve. Hey, man, you talk about straight up swerving, bro. Me and Ray tagged in, bro.
Yeah.
And and we just proceeded to just dog out our manager and be like, you don't know it, motherfucker. You don't get it, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just thought it was funny how we could argue about wrestling. When somebody came in, we just turned, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like I say, we became the Rockers. You know what I'm saying?
That's a very interesting choice.
Isn't it, though? Well, Ray was definitely Shawn Michaels. That's all I'll say.
yeah,
You're rocking with Marty Jannetty over here. Marty has some good matches.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry, I took us down a rabbit hole, Mikey. Please go ahead.
Brother, you listen to the show. You know how this is how it goes. I'm surprised we've got this far.
Did you bring breadcrumbs?
Well, no.
Because we're we always need them to find our way back.
We need them. That's what I call Mike Payne, the breadcrumbs, because, man, I get lost in space. I was like, all right, dude.
Yeah,
This is what we're talking about
We
today.
got to find our way back all the time.
It's like, get your ass over here, Jason. Oh, I'm on my way. I'm coming. Here I am.
But okay, so after that sort of Malenko came in.
Right. Which I love that one.
I love Malenko.
Me too. And I like that group.
Yeah, with Benoit, Malenko, Flair, Mongo, and Arn
Anderson.
as
It's actually my
the
third
manager.
favorite evolution of the Horseman. Probably the most frustrating as well,
Yeah.
but
Because it was so
still.
short-lived and it
Yeah.
didn't really get as over as it could. Because Malenko and Benoit, man, was
God,
just
so
Yeah.
good.
So good,
And I
man.
know we're not supposed to talk about Benoit now, but
Yeah.
but look,
You
man,
can't erase
he was
history,
off
dude.
the chain.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, man, I mean, dude, Benoit was, honest to God, one of my favorites. I mean, it's just so
Oh,
tragic.
it was dynamite. Man.
Yeah, man, no pun intended.
Oh wow.
Speaking
of which, we should talk about Tom
Yeah,
Billingsley.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
come up.
We'll get that.
We'll get back to that in a little bit, but yeah, even with that, then you had just this weird turn there at the end with like Little Nate Charles Robinson.
Oh yeah.
in
I kind of
there.
enjoy that, to be
I
honest
like
with you.
Little Nate.
I like Little Nate.
I'm also coaching up some casual viewers about Charles Robinson. You know, whenever he's out there reffing a pay-per-view, I'm like, okay, this guy here, we call him Little Nate.
Right, right.
This
man.
is why we call him.
And it will
Little
always
Nate.
be that
And-
to us.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know.
for sure.
And the casual fans don't care, but they just like
Whatever,
I'll just talk
Grandpa.
wrestling again. So.
Whatever, Gramps. You just talking about the old days again.
Well, then after even with that, you had Double D.
Dustin Destiny?
No.
See, I didn't say. I bit my tongue.
You was going to. I saw you coming to the mic, and I'm like, no, I'm going to beat him.
I had it down as I wrote it down the other day. But no, I'm talking about Asia.
I do remember Asia.
Anybody
I
remember
do.
Asia?
I do, man. I had thought about Asia
The
forever.
WCW counterpart to
China.
China.
Yeah, man.
I
Yes.
do remember that.
Yeah.
I remember them. Her.
Yeah. She was a nurse in the crazy home.
To this day, I love that angle.
Really?
I know. Did y'all? Because I think most people didn't like it. I thought it was awesome,
I
man.
think I had tuned out of WCW about that
About
time.
that time. Yeah.
I
I've
didn't
fallen
hate it,
completely
but I
out.
was also mad because, much like everybody else, I'm a Flair mark.
Sure.
and
Sure.
I didn't like how Flair was allowing himself to be manipulated at this, just as far as angles and whatnot. Not as
No, I was just thinking about some of the stuff. I was just thinking about some of those shots they did in the Crazy House.
Where he just coming in his robe, you know.
But all the other characters in that.
Yeah, like Scott Hall was in there one time, wasn't he?
Scott
Like in
Hall
the
was in there,
background.
but then you had like the other crazies in there.
Yeah. They all go, woo!
They're just all wandering around, just oblivious. Woo!
And dude, once again, another testament to Ric Flair is he put that over so well, man.
there's only one person that could have gotten
that was Flair.
together. Yeah.
And he did, man. I mean,
No
once
matter-
again,
What was the
What I
character
thought of
that
it.
was in there that it wasn't? You know, obviously it was the counterpart, the crazy counterpart to Double A. What was the other character in there?
I can't remember, man. I
I
haven't
don't know
watched
if it
that
was like
stuff in
Triple A
forever.
or what he called it.
Oh.
I just loved how he would just be in the background,
Yeah.
just randomly show up in his robe.
Yeah.
Woo! And then just-
Yeah.
You know, I almost put that angle with Flair almost to the Dusty Rhodes polka dot angle. It's almost like we're going to put you in something ridiculous,
Right.
something that should never
Yeah.
get over, something that actually should bury you. And goddamn, if you're not going to turn it around and get over.
Well, I'll tell you
Get it
where
over, man.
I'll tell you where Vince fucked up on that one. He gave Dusty he gave him these horrible polka dots. He gave him Sapphire.
Which Sapphire was awesome, man. I mean, I love Sapphire.
Oh, come on.
Really? I get no love for Sapphire on the podcast today?
no
Well,
love for
Mike,
Sapphire.
not even my partner, Mike Payne. Dan Pudsworth, you like Sapphire? He doesn't remember. Jesus Christ. Okay.
There's a reason. There's a reason.
There's a reason. Dude, she was
She
unforgettable.
wasn't a baby doll.
No, she wasn't. She
wasn't precious.
She wasn't precious. She was Sapphire.
Damn sure wasn't Miss Elizabeth.
But she was Sapphire,
Literally
man.
picked out of the crowd.
A common woman for a common man, bro.
It's
And
pretty-
that's actually
oh,
where Vince
It's
messed
pretty
up.
common
because,
and basic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you can't call Sapphire basic.
Basic.
No. Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty basic.
What?
I mean,
No.
yeah.
Damn, even Pudsworth. Man, all right. No love for Sapphire. That's whatever, man. That's on y'all.
But
That's on y'all, man.
Vince gave Dusty the most awesome entrance music
True that.
was going on at that time.
Okay.
Maybe damn near of all time. I mean, it's up there, bro. It ain't maybe not the best.
I mean,
but
it's
up
no
there,
real
man.
American, but
Right.
boy, it's damn close.
It's up. I'd say it's in the top 5, man. I mean,
It's-
you know, I'd put it up there.
I will too. It's
I mean, that cowbell
He's
coming
just
in,
a common man.
And dude, Dusty broke it down to his dance, and then Sapphire come
working
in.
hard with his hand.
Dude, you gonna tell me watching Sapphire and Big Dust dance to that song didn't get you off, man? Come on, dude.
It definitely didn't get me
Well,
off.
not
did
like
No,
that,
hey.
man. Not like that.
Hey.
Jesus, Louise,
What?
y'all.
That's what I say. Jesus, Louises.
I didn't mean it like in a dirty way. I just meant like you liked it. Like it's like, hey, man, that's awesome.
Talk about Maypop.
Jeez. All right, let's get back on track, people. God damn it, man.
There's some breadcrumbs. All right. The
Yeah,
last
right.
person.
Dude, we
last
even gone through the fucking history yet.
Yeah, I know, right? And That's what I said. It's like I told him when he came. You got about 3 or 4 hours.
Yes,
You have
I mean, for
anything
real.
to do?
This is gonna be the
Okay.
saga,
Yeah.
a trilogy.
But the last person in that whole group was David Flair.
Oh boy.
Yeah. That's
Proof that wrestling is not genetic, man.
Right,
right.
You know, Charlotte may have got it. Reed may have had it. David, boy, it skipped David. But he fucked Stacy Keibler. I mean, hey, bro.
So there you go.
You tell me something better, bro. I mean, you know, you could talk shit about David Flair all day long, all day strong. If I was David Flair, yeah, I fucked Stacy Keibler. What are you going to say?
There you go, Captain.
I mean, damn, dude. I mean, he literally slept with one of the most beautiful women ever, man. So props to David Flair, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Props. I dare say that makes him a better horseman than fucking Roma.
But did he for real?
Yeah. Oh, they were together. In real
They were an
life.
item. I remember
Yeah, they
were
were,
there.
man.
I remember
That's
they were
legit.
an item, all
Yes.
but briefly.
I mean, it wasn't. Well, obviously, it wasn't going to last that long. Not with George Clooney in the background, but
Yeah.
but no, yeah, man, that was legit, dude. They were an item for real, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
God
okay.
bless him, brother.
Hey man, yeah. I'm out.
Still better than Roma.
Yeah.
That's all I can say, man. Still better than Roma.
I mean, Tully didn't get the fuck.
Exactly.
So what do you want here?
Rick may have. I mean,
Well, knowing that history,
Of course he did.
sure.
knowing that history with the Horseman, and we're taking it back to 1993 with that pick. Tell you what, let's look at the roster
All right.
Okay.
for WCW '93.
All right.
All right. Let's see. And just to name off some names for '93.
Right.
We've got Bobby Eaton,
Of course.
who I thought would have been
Decent horseman.
A decent horseman.
A decent pick.
Yeah.
I don't know that I wouldn't put him in my top 10, but yeah.
No. But better than Roma, but
For
still
sure.
not, in my opinion. You kind of got to be a talker to be a horse.
Definitely
Well,
have to be a talker.
Let's
know.
do it this way. I think we can pretty much say, I think Pudsworth is a better.
Oh,
pick
absolutely.
than
Paul
Roma.
Roma.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's say it's like, can we go better than Sid? Let's take it up just a couple notches, because if we go to Roma, that's like saying, well,
Oh,
there's a stain on the
let's
floor.
see.
Can we get higher than that
Right,
stain?
right. Well, you know,
yeah, everything's higher than the stain.
But see, I was kind of looking at it more like who would have been a better choice in that position for the overall, I guess, improvement of WCW. In other words, man, who would have been the other choice that would have popped it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That would have actually gotten the result that they wanted. Yeah, I see what you're saying with Sid, obviously. But what I'm saying is like, who else? In other
that
words,
particular
in that
time.
pay-per-view, if they could have brought somebody else out, that would have worked.
Does it have to be in WCW?
Absolutely not, man. Absolutely not. Nah, dude.
I've got one.
All right. Well, I've got. Well, y'all want to just start jumping in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's jump.
Yeah.
Let's hear it, brother. I got a couple, but yeah.
I've got a couple too, but I think my number one pick would be the Funker.
Terry Funk.
Terry Funk.
I
thought that
think
too.
he would bring that grittiness that Wyndham had, that Ole had,
Toughness.
the toughness.
He's a hell of a
plus
talker.
the sage wisdom and the promo skills.
I actually thought Terry Funk too. I actually thought about that. I wouldn't put him in my top 3, but
He looks great in a tux.
He does. He does, man.
I think by '93, what we were seeing was crazy old man Terry Funk.
We were.
He was starting to get there. He was definitely evolving into that. He was
I
kind
think
of in a.
he was in. He started in the
Yeah,
ECW.
he was ECW. Yeah.
And you're seeing more like that crazy old man. Hey, he's going off rambling talks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
know,
Right.
So I don't know that he would have been a good pro fit for the Horseman.
Right on.
Right. I still think I thought of Terry too, Terry Funk as well. Let me tell you one that I thought about.
What do you got?
And I think I've talked to both of you guys about this person. I don't think he's my number one choice anymore. I don't. I did it first. I think me and Mike talked off microphone about this and kind of changed my mind, but I do want to bring him up. Roddy Piper.
I think you and I had this
Well,
conversation.
yeah, I think I talked to both you guys separately about this. Yeah.
I'm not feeling Piper. I think Piper's like on paper it looks good.
Right.
I think the the dynamic doesn't work.
The thing I think with the Horsemen, and this is what Mikey was talking, maybe it was me, I can't remember, man. I get everything kind of mixed up nowadays. But I think, what me and one of you guys were talking about is when in the Horsemen, Flair's got to be the jewel. Flair's got to be the vocal point. Piper would probably overshadow Flair, or at least be on an equal.
Yeah.
And you can't really be on an equal billing with Flair in the Horsemen. Flair's got to be that crown jewel.
Right.
Even if you had, and I mean, man, some could argue that Roddy Piper would overshadow Flair, just given his iconic status. You know, I mean, I think at one point Roddy Piper was one of the most mainstream wrestlers ever. You know, he did They Live. You know, he was mainstream. You know, where Flair at this point maybe was still, you know, Flair's mainstream now, but back in '93, Flair may have still been.
It was a drop.
Absolutely. But I don't think it would have worked because Flair's got to be the man in the Horseman. But as far as getting a pop, getting the reaction that WCW was looking for, I think Roddy Piper would have absolutely got that. Would have absolutely bumped him up. Would have absolutely gotten ratings. If it would have been the best fit overall for the long term, I don't think so.
Do you think them bringing Piper in what, 96? Do you think that helped them out?
I do actually, man. I do. Yes. Believe it or not, especially when Piper beat Hogan in the cage. It definitely didn't hurt, man. No, and they were able to kind of revive.
But was he past it at that time?
I think so.
Yeah.
But this was also WCW, man. Almost half the roster was kind of past their prime at this point.
Yeah.
You know, when him and Hogan were the main event, which, I mean, that was a good main event at Starrcade. You know, Piper got over clean with the sleeper, you know. But, yeah, man, I think he did. And I think at that time it would have gotten over. But overall, man, like being a long-lasting Four Horsemen, I just don't think it would have worked. I think in fact, I think Flair and Piper would have eventually blew up and had a feud.
Well, there's that, and it's widely known that the Horsemen are known for always making your opponent look as good as they possibly could and just put them over.
Right.
Piper is well known for not
doing that.
Really wanting
to. Good point, man.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a point, brother. Yeah, you're right. That's something you guys got to say about all of them, man. Tully, Arn, Flair, the champ. Hell, man, Ric Flair will go out and have a 20-minute match with George South.
Oh, yeah.
And make you think South was going to win that world title.
Right.
There was a few times as a kid.
Jesus Christ,
I remember
man.
getting upset at television because...
Oh, my God, George is going to win.
And I was mad because as a kid, I was an island to myself because everybody else loved Ricky Steamboat and the Rock and Roll Express, and I'm cheering for
You like the bad guys, right?
I was, and as far as I knew, there was nobody else but me.
Brother, were you wrong?
Oh, I know. If I'd have drove up the road 30 minutes, I could have found a gaggle of you.
Yeah.
So he goes, all my friends like the Hills, and I'm the only one that like the good guys.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, you mean nobody likes Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
What? But he's a real American. You know.
Nope.
Well, Mikey, me and Dawes have given a choice. Who do you think, man?
What you got?
There's a couple on that roster that are potentials. At that time in '93, you've got guys like Brad Armstrong.
Oh,
I don't hate the idea of Brad Armstrong.
better than Paul.
It's better than Paul, but it's still...
His work was there.
Yeah.
The work was there, but he's...
His name was there. I mean, people knew him. Flair made him look like $1 million several times.
Yeah.
I feel like he's a lower tier.
I agree, man. He was, I agree.
But do you think you can even make that comparison to Dean Malenko?
Yeah, but at the same time, man, I also got to look at what WCW was trying to accomplish with this thing. You know, introducing the new Horseman, Brad Armstrong.
All right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Name,
it's like, I would still be pissed off. Let me put it like that. If I was watching that pay-per-view and they brought Brad Armstrong out, I may even be more mad at Paul Roma because at least Paul Roma's from the WWF.
Would it be better as Bradford Armstrong or Bradley
Maybe.
Armstrong?
Bradley, maybe. Bradford. I like Bradford Armstrong.
Damn Armstrong boys. They just never got a...
Not really. Except for Road Dogg. Road Dogg did good.
Road Dogg...
But he changed his name. I know Armstrong. Fuck that. No, Dog. Dog is my last name.
Curse?
Yeah, for real. Can you say curse?
Yeah. But another guy that was there, Terry Taylor.
I have... okay, I'm going to start... Okay, you want to talk about taking us down a rabbit hole.
Oh, boy.
I have never liked Terry Taylor.
Not a lot of people have.
I give him all the respect in the world.
He was a good worker.
He was a great worker. As far as a mechanic goes in the ring, he was fantastic.
Sure. Vanilla.
I did not give a shit.
He was vanilla, man.
What did you say this on like 3 or 4
Yeah,
podcasts
yeah,
ago? I think
it
you
was
said the
Starcade.
best thing that ever happened
was
to
the Red
him was
Rooster.
Bobby Heenan and the Red
Yeah,
Rooster.
and I believe that 100%. Mikey disagrees.
I do not.
What do you think?
I think he got damn lucky to get that Red Rooster
And
gimmick.
he should have fucking worked it, man.
I think y'all need to go back to Bill Watts's and watch that UWF stuff when he was a heel.
Oh, don't get me wrong, man.
He was. I'll take nothing away from it. He's great.
Sure.
Just.
But who gives a shit?
You know what I'll do? I paint him with the same brush that I paint Jeff Jarrett. Fantastic worker.
I'll give you that.
Solid, just all the way around solid. But when you're in the land of giants, you got to be more than just solid.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett and Terry Taylor equals. They're great, but I don't care.
I look at him like vanilla ice cream, man. It's good. I like it. I'll eat it.
I can't
There's
say
no other
anything
choice.
bad about it, but I
No.
can't really say anything good about it either.
I'm definitely not going to get it in Baskin Robbins. You know what I'm saying? If I can get like Rocky Road or anything else, man, Terry Taylor flavor is going to be my absolute.
I bet that's...
God damn it, dogs! if you have kids listening, for one, what the fuck's wrong with you? Second of all, go ahead and tell them to get out of the room.
Terry Taylor flavor. It
Tastes like chicken.
It tastes like salt and failure.
I'm out. Tastes like chicken.
Chicken with failure sauce.
That's a foul joke.
Mother. God damn it. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, catch us next week. Y'all have a good
This
one.
is just going to be bad puns. And thank God we don't have a word for the day. Because
Jesus,
if
man.
that happened again, I swear I would tie all your dicks together and throw you over a power line.
That seems a bit harsh, but
Well,
after
today's
last
secret
week's-
word is dicks.
don't start that shit.
Yeah, man.
well, speaking
It's
of the secret word and sunset flip.
That's
Are-
always a secret word.
Are you y'all have done that a few times on the podcast? Do y'all want to tell them where that came from?
Yes, I do, but not until we get 100 subscribers on our
right.
YouTube channel.
Absolutely.
So spread the word.
What? Well, I know what a PUD is.
Do you? Don't say anything.
I'm gonna tell them, Finger.
No,
I'm gonna
don't.
do it. Get off me, Finger.
Edit. Hit the stop button. Well, hey, let me ask you guys.
Yeah.
I know we're actually about 47 minutes in, and I know we usually take a break. I know we still got a whiles to go, but it's kind of a segue, Mike. Dawes talking about PUDs and what PUDs are, this and that, and how we're not going to tell anyone until we hit that 100 subscribers on YouTube.
Right.
But our friends over at Sweet Feathery Jesus, however.
Yes.
So this is a good segue. Go ahead. Maybe we'll take a little early break and we'll come back for the long haul. So what we're about to do right now is our friends over at Sweet Feathery Jesus, actually, they think they know what a PUD is. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a little clip.
Really?
Yes, they do, yes. Chuck Turtleman, one of the co-hosts of Sweet Feathery Jesus, actually has a theory, and we're going to play that clip right now. So we're going to let you guys hear what they think, and then we'll come right back. So y'all don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
A few shows ago, I mentioned that there was this video of me online from way back in the day.
Oh, we saw it.
Yeah, I know.
Like a blurry Belasco.
Yeah, well,
Jumping up and down, you look very excited.
a couple of friends of mine who were there for that event.
Back when you had your gallbladder.
Yes, back when I had my gallbladder. Thank you. Jason and Mike, they're trying to do their own podcast. Check them out. The PUDcast with Jason and Mike. PUD, that's P-U-D.
I heard it got
It's
pulled.
post-urinal drip.
Their PUDcast.
That's what I always call PUD. If you had a wet spot in your pants after you left the bathroom, it's PUD. Post-urinal drip.
Post-urinary trip.
That's strong, man. That is strong.
I mean, they're not wrong. I mean, well, they're not right. That's not what a PUD is. If you really want to know what a PUD is, then help us get to that 100 subscribers on YouTube. I've already said it once. I'll say it again. That's how you're going to find out what it really means. But, I mean, hey, man, those guys over at Sweet Feather Jesus, they're not really that far off.
No, you're not. That's a strong guess. In fact,
that's swinging for the fences, bro.
I mean, maybe you should change it.
I'm actually, I was like, shit, man, why didn't I think of that? Really, I mean,
Are they right? Are they not?
that way every time somebody asks PUD, they'll think of us, which they probably do anyway.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Oh man, well, we just want to give those guys a shout out and a special, just a special thank you for putting us out there. And
I've recently started listening to Sweet Feathery Jesus because of the podcast.
Dude, they're hilarious.
That's a lot of fun, man.
Man,
It's a
they
lot of
are
fun.
hilarious,
Yes,
man.
they are.
Once again, if you haven't checked them out, go check them out. Sweet Feathery Jesus. They're all over the place. Just search for them wherever you listen to your podcasts. Find them on Facebook. They're out there, man. Those guys are great. E-Man is always in the house. And but anyway, man, where were we at, brother? I don't even fucking know where we were at.
We were tripping all over Terry Taylor.
Oh, that's right. Mikey's favorite wrestler.
I like Terry.
Oh,
I like
boy.
Terry. But on that roster as well, you had other guys. And I'm going to bring up another name right quick of a guy that maybe could have.
Okay.
All right. There's a possibility
All right.
if he had been groomed right.
Okay.
Z-Man, Tom Zink.
Bro, motherfucker.
No.
What?
I
Whoa.
don't hate this. I don't hate this.
I don't either.
What?
Because
Wait,
my
whoa.
other pick was going to be the model Rick Martel.
I thought of Rick Martel myself.
Yeah,
I thought of
absolutely,
Rick Martel.
because
I thought of him.
on that roster of WWE or WWF at that time, yeah, definitely Rick Martel.
Yeah, he was on my list as well. But Tom fucking Zink.
But
Z-Man?
honestly, I
Yes.
would rather
Really?
have Tom Zink as opposed to Martel
What?
just because Zink was American. You gotta.
Good point. I'll give you
Well,
that.
if you're gonna be a horseman, you gotta be American.
What do you
That's-
think about that, Pudsworth? Oh, God.
God damn it,
Oh,
Pudsworth.
man. You know what?
Motherfucker.
He's
got other
playing
shit.
Candy Crush.
I'm sorry,
other shit to
David. Point proven.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Thanks, Pudsworth. They ain't mad at us. They ain't mad at us.
Yeah, he mad.
Fuck y'all, man.
He mad.
But I'm mad. I'm Tom fucking Zeke.
Oh,
What-
man,
What are
come
you
on.
mad about?
Come on, he was a good-looking guy. He was built. He could kind
Well,
of
so was
talk.
fucking Paul Roma.
Oh, so was Lex Luger.
Well, he sucked too.
It was better. It was better work order than both. Yeah.
Nah, dude, he didn't even make my radar, dude. I'm over here tripping that y'all kind of like on the same page. I'm like, well, at least David Hayes will back me up on this one. David's like, nah, man, that's cool. I'm like, what?
No, I actually.
Well, what's a better
Am I
fit?
wrong? Am I wrong here?
You guys had a similar conversation a few podcasts ago, and well, just I feel like I'm not alone in this. Your puddles. I don't know what you call them.
Puddles. Puddles and repuddles.
what PUD are we talking about?
Your putamania. I don't know.
I like puddles, actually. Our fans? Is that what you're
Yeah,
trying to say? I didn't
yeah.
know. I didn't know. Well, I mean,
the
he's
puddles
here,
out there.
but he's here with us right now. It's
right.
you.
I'm a puddle.
You're our fan.
I'm a puddle. And it's not the worst thing that I've been called today.
Today. Give it time, brother. Give it time. Oh, you have no idea what we have in store for this hour.
But no, a few podcasts ago, as I'm listening, I tend to talk back to you guys as I feel like most of the puddles do when they're listening. And I was thinking, well, you guys were going back and forth, and I was like, are we not even going to talk about Tom Zink? And
Right. Yeah.
the Z-Man, baby.
He has just never really been on my radar. Just call me crazy. I guess I am, man. But Tom Zink is just, I cannot see Zink. Honestly, I think Paul Roma was better than Tom Zink.
Oh, come on.
I swear to God, man.
Come
I
on.
mean, dude, Tom's.
Well, let me ask you, another guy in that roster.
I mean, thank
Tag
you.
team
if you thought-
champions, man.
If you thought exactly, but if you thought somebody else would have been a better pick in that roster at that time, I could see you picking this. I really could.
All right.
Heavy Metal Van Hammer.
In principle, I'd like to say yes.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking
But
about.
no.
Repackaged, maybe. I
He
don't.
will shit all over Tom Zink, but
But Van Hammer, no problemo
I can kind of see
for the
it.
Finger Mania.
I can kind of see it. I can see it. I can see it.
One slash.
Exactly. I can dig it. I can dig it. You know. No, I thought of Van Hammer. I did think of Van Hammer.
See?
But no. All jokes aside, Van Hammer would not. Dude, but I can't even believe. Dude, Tom Zink, y'all got me tripping out, man. I may have to start drinking again, dude, because that one just. That
You would
hurt.
rather we do Man Mountain Rock or
Well, I mean, goddamn, why not?
Max Payne.
Fuck it, why not?
Max Payne.
Max Payne.
What about Mike Payne?
What about Diamond Dallas Page? He was on that roster at that time.
Maybe, bro.
I feel
Maybe.
like that clashes.
Maybe. I don't know, man.
Because I
That's
can't
hard.
see.
Maybe.
I see him
can't
more
see
as a
DDP.
Freebird than a horse.
Oh,
There
there
you
you
go.
Well, he was
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah,
Freebirds,
yeah.
man. Yeah, he used to manage them. I could almost see it, but was he still basically managing though
Yeah.
at that time? Yes, it may have not have, but I could see it
I
possibly.
think he was wrestling a little bit.
May have started
He
kind of.
was. Was this
transitioning.
around the time that he had the taped ribs? Or was he?
Oh,
No, that was way
later.
later.
That was
Yeah,
later, man.
Oh
in
yeah,
the
that was like
90s.
95,
Yeah.
9. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of during the war.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. DDP though, he kind of crossed my mind too, thinking about this show. But once again, he was managing at the time, so
A
I
little
don't
too
know.
rough around the edges for Horseman.
Yeah. I'm like you, Mike. He was definitely more of a Freebird type. You know. Well, what about Michael Hayes?
Oh, that was another.
I don't
name.
hate that.
That
I
was,
don't hate that
I
at
thought-
all.
yeah.
that was on the roster at that time. Michael Hayes was definitely there.
I could see. I think Michael Hayes would have fit perfect. Well, maybe not perfectly, but I think as far as some of the names we've mentioned so far, I'd probably go with him more than probably anybody else that we have talked about. Rick Martel's up
I
there
think
too.
he was too Jewish.
Gee, that's Mike Payne. P.O. Box. Jesus Christ, man, we're pissing everybody off
I
today.
can say that, but
What are you Jewish?
absolutely.
Those of us here
Oy vey, oy vey.
at This Is a Work podcast.
But I think,
we're
I
only,
think he was. I
You don't
think
get anti-Semitism.
we're only here as a guest, and
no, I
You
think
don't
he
catch
was.
this kind of shit on your podcast. You know?
All right, I think he was too Southern.
You think so?
Yes,
I don't.
I just think he was that too Southern Atlanta. Just
Freebird.
Freebird.
He was Freebird, man.
Yeah.
he was Freebird. I mean, I don't disagree with the choice, and I think you could repackage him as a
Yeah.
Horseman. But no, I got Freebirds. Freebirds are Freebirds.
Right.
We
man.
repackaged him
Right.
as a Hendrix.
A doc.
Yeah, we did.
A
doctor.
Doc Hendricks.
He was actually not a doctor, man. It was actually after docking,
yeah,
which made me like it 10
because
times more.
you spelled it D-O-K.
D-O-K. Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
Docking is just a group of doctors,
That's right.
like oxen.
Docking.
Because when you listen to their music, it's surgical, bro. It's surgical. I love docking.
They were socking.
Rockin', sockin', docking, man.
They need to get off the stage and get a job in those slobbins.
They got it on locking.
Oh God.
Oh, Jesus, man. Okay, let's go. Goddamn
All
it.
right, let's talk
We're
about
done. We're just.
let's
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about somebody else on that roster.
Okay.
Rick Rude.
I love that.
I could
idea.
absolutely see that. I could have. Do you think
That
Rick
would have been
Rude-
huge.
Do you think though, man, he may have been too big to be with Flair though? I don't.
No.
I don't think so. But I could see. I think.
Well, he was definitely a good fit as far as that team player because of,
Yes.
you
Him and
know
Bull.
them coming out of the Dangerous Alliance.
That's true. That's right. Right.
you know,
right.
which was basically the Horseman for that period of time.
right.
Tough
man.
guy,
the
not
company.
necessarily a strong worker, but good.
Oh, he was
good
good.
enough.
He was good, man.
Good
Yeah.
enough.
I definitely, but like you say, he was tough, and his charisma, ravishing.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
good. As of right now, I think he is probably my favorite one that we've talked about as of right now.
Okay.
I like Rick Rude.
Yeah.
Rick Steamboat.
No, not at all. Thumbs down. No,
I suppose anything in this realm is possible.
no.
God,
I
it's
think
just
he would have been equal to
he brought his
Sting.
kids to the ring,
Yeah.
man. I mean,
Yeah.
That's when he was just too much. He was a baby face,
Yeah,
man.
I think he would have been equal to Sting in that.
I agree.
That
Yeah.
spot.
I agree.
Dustin Rhodes.
Maybe. Maybe to put in the
I think
Dusty
that would have
Sun.
been. I think.
I'll be honest. I did not like Dustin Rhodes until he became Gold Dust.
I love Dustin.
I like
Rhodes.
Dustin. I liked
loved him.
Yeah.
I
Now,
loved him by himself.
I do
I
think-
liked him more than Goldust.
I didn't even think. I'll be honest, guys. I have always thought that Dustin didn't really get good until like maybe 8 years ago.
Really?
Like really. He really. I felt like he matured as a wrestler,
Right.
and like as he's getting to the end of his career, he kind of got tunnel vision, and his work rate went up.
Well, he got sober too.
That has a lot to do
Right.
with it.
You know,
Yeah.
he really did, man.
Yeah.
He had a lot of problems, and he finally sobered up. And his work, and being at his age, getting sober, and then his work rate getting as good as it got. But see, I always thought Dustin was pretty good, man. Even back in when he was Dustin Rhodes, I thought he was pretty good. I love Gold Dust, and nobody could put that over like Dustin.
Maybe
you know?
Dustin Rhodes was more of a more had the Jeff Jarrett syndrome for me.
Right.
Like,
I got you.
I understand that he's good, and I can see it. It's just I didn't.
But I think the psychology by pulling Dustin in, like Dusty Rhodes, you've been a thorn in our
yeah.
side
The
from day
angle's
one,
fantastic.
bro.
Yeah.
That would have gotten
That would've
so
been huge.
over, man.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you were going to bring Dustin in. I don't think doing it on Flair for the Gold like they did Paul Roma
Right.
would have been the best way. It'd have been better as a swerve.
Right.
You
Like
know,
in
now
the
that I'm
ring
thinking
or
about it,
something.
no, I'm going to change my vote. Yeah, I'm on board with that.
You on board? Yeah, I mean
I'm-
that's not a bad
Okay.
call, man.
just for the angle alone is huge.
let me pull out a name for you guys.
Okay.
Lay it on us.
What about Gino Hernandez?
Oh, Gino was dead at that time.
Oh, was he dead? Okay, let me try another one.
But if
Fuck, I got my
what,
dates mixed up,
in a
man.
what if world,
In a what if world?
in a what if world, Gino I think would have been a great horseman.
I think he would have been good. What about Al Perez?
I mean, God, you know, I
I liked Al Perez by himself.
liked him
don't-
by himself. I didn't.
I don't
I
know.
don't feel like.
I think he could have been a good horseman, man. I really do. He had the look. He had the work rate. He was definitely a team
I
player.
always call him Seth Rollins' daddy.
No shit.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
shit. Holy shit.
That's pretty
Damn.
good.
I can't get that out of my head now. No,
Yeah, that's something I can't unknow now.
Yeah, no, thanks, Mike Payne. No, really, thank you, though. That's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
really, you know, at first I'm like, oh, shit,
All
man.
right.
But now I'm like, no, that's really cool. Yeah, I think either one of those guys could have been good,
Yeah.
man. I think either one of those guys, especially, I liked Al Perez. I was a
I
fan.
did too.
I was.
Al
a
Perez is
fan.
fun. I'm still leaning. I'm still on the Rude bandwagon.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a good one.
Well, let me throw out a couple more names off that roster. Of course, Barry was. You know,
What about Barry?
Barry
What if
was a horseman. Barry was on the roster at that time, but he was feuding heavily with Flair at that time
Right.
as well.
He was the big baby face, or one of the
no,
big.
well, no, he was the heel at that
Was he
time.
a heel?
Flair was the baby.
Really, man?
Yeah.
I got my wires crossed. Believe it
Yeah.
or not, I got my wires crossed
Yeah.
somewhere. Okay, but
Yeah,
still,
sure
that would have
was.
been a good. I mean, I think Barry probably, to be completely honest, would have probably been the best choice, realistically, given the roster.
Right.
You know, because he had that history. People love
Right.
Barry as a horseman.
Oh,
I don't,
yeah.
I don't think
I
he
loved
would.
Barry as a
Oh, I did, man. I don't think it would have disappointed. You know what I'm saying?
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, and I think Barry.
And everybody, they all got along with Barry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Team player.
And that's huge.
right. He fit, man.
It's
He-
like nothing's worse than having to team with somebody that you don't really like.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Because you're basically married to him.
Yeah.
You know, when
Right.
you're on the road and everything.
Well, you know, Sting was on that roster. He was a former horseman.
Right.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I'm going to come down to
I wish I could forget.
I'm going to come down to three names now. Now, I forgot one name that would become a horseman. I forgot him on the list of former horsemen. It was Brian Pillman.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I had.
At that time, you know, he was a heel.
Right. He was teaming with Stunning Steve Austin at this time, correct?
Which is
yeah, they
the
were
other
Hollywood
name
Blondes,
that you were going to
right?
bring up.
Now, Stunning Steve Austin, I think, would have been a hell of a horseman.
This would have been my number one pick.
Stunning Steve.
Steve Austin.
I don't hate it. I
Yeah.
love it.
I don't hate it as far as a logical choice. I think it's absolutely a logical choice. I just don't know if it would have the impact that WCW wanted to get
Right.
at that time. You know, I kind of look at it from that angle, man. It's like, what person could have taken that angle like a Tully. You know what I'm saying? It'd be
Right.
like, holy shit, WCW's back on track now.
Right.
We're about to take over. I don't know if at that time if Stunning Steve would have got, or Pillman. Even though they're
Right.
both great, obviously Pillman went on, obviously.
Yeah.
He was a Horseman. I just don't know if it had that impact, man.
Well, see,
Right.
let's also keep in mind at what we're looking for. We're looking for a Tully. And so, so
Really?
that's important because basically we need somebody to tag with Double A.
True.
Now, having said that, I think our winners in the clubhouse here is going to be Rude or Austin or maybe Pillman.
I'm going to throw out one more name.
Okay.
Last name on that roster that I thought would have any kind of chance. Shane Douglas.
Ooh.
I like it. I like Shane Douglas.
Logically, it makes sense. Once again, I don't know if it had that same
Tagging
That
with
is-
Double A, because since I just thought about that,
That'd be a
now
great tag team.
That's something that I'm adding into my factors
That would be
now.
great.
As a singles in the Horseman, absolutely, that would have been great.
See, I could see him and Arn tagging, man.
But
I could
you
see
gotta
that.
remember, Shane had just come out of that tag team situation with Steamboat,
That's right.
where they were feuding with the Hollywood Blondes of Pillman
were.
and Austin.
Right.
I
So
remember
he
that,
had that tag team, experience. And then obviously the Dynamic Dudes before that, so he was Johnny Ace. How about Johnny Ace, huh?
Oh, get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
Him and Terry Taylor, man, can you know?
People power. People power.
The chicken men. But anyway, I don't know.
Oh, Jesus.
The Coxman.
honestly, I'm on. I got Stunning Steve to tag with Double A. That's
That would-
my
Yeah.
pick.
Well, they were in the Dangerous Alliance,
Dangerous
right?
Alliance.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they
they had
already
that.
had that, connection, man.
Even Bobby Eaton did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But Bobby couldn't talk, man.
That's the only thing.
That was the only thing holding, and everybody in the Horsemen needed to talk. I know Mongo, I know. Sid, I know.
There's a similar
Lex, I know.
But do you think they need a JJ at that time for the Horseman?
They kind of had that in Ole, in a way.
In a way, Ole was, but God, Ole was doing so little.
Right,
He was
right.
too busy doing voiceovers for the Shockmaster.
Shockmaster.
Yeah.
I still trip out when I watch that
And
video.
even before that, the
That
Black
was-
Scorpion.
Oh, Jesus. Oh,
boy, I just watched
That
a
was
YouTube
stunning.
thing on the Black Scorpion
that was so terrible.
and Ole.
That was so
and-
bad.
Ole claims that he wrote the Black Scorpion to be a smartass. I don't believe it.
I think Ole claims a lot of shit, bro.
He was like, yeah, they were getting on me about this, and I was like, well, hell, we'll just write him the Black fucking Scorpion.
Nah. Do y'all,
Hey, it's possible.
do y'all remember the Magic Show? The Black Scorpion put on in that? I think it was
Yes.
maybe the Clash of Champions,
Yes.
maybe.
With the tiger?
Yes.
Did he grab a girl or was it a referee or something?
A girl.
It was a girl, I believe.
Yeah, grabbed a girl like it was like she was just standing there being a model or so, or she was in the audience or something like that, and he just, and just grabbed her through the cage like you do. And,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or when he spun somebody's head all the way around. You remember that?
Now, is it true that Christian Bale from The Dark Knight took his voice from Ole Anderson?
To do
Black
Batman.
Scorpion. Is the Batman? Sting. Where is he? Where is he? Sting.
God almighty, man. Well, we didn't even talk about the Black Scorpion. That could have been a good horseman in a way. In a way, the Black Scorpion
there we go.
was the greatest horseman.
I hate everything that's coming out of your mouth right now.
Jim Duggan would be a good horseman.
Jim Duggan? He crossed my mind. I thought about Hacksaw briefly. I'm
Why?
like, well, it was brief. That's what I'm saying. I'm just thinking of different people. I could see James Duggan. I could see James Duggan with his hair pulled back.
No.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Well, hey, man, let's talk a little bit about...
Oh.
Oh. But you got woo and ho. I mean, hey. Well, let's talk about... Let's talk about Ted DiBiase.
All right,
I brought him up.
Let's go up north.
Let's go up north, man. To me, that's my number one pick.
Really?
And let me say why. Okay, at this point, man, in WWE or WWF at the time, Ted's I guess, man, he had started getting a little stale. At this point, him and IRS were tag teaming. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they were Money Inc. at this time.
They were.
So, Ted basically came from the world title scene and kind of got, quote-unquote demoted down. He was with IRS. The thing about Ted DiBiase, first of all, let's call it the way it is, man. Tremendous worker. Tremendous worker.
Okay.
Tremendous charisma.
Okay.
He had that $1 million man persona that he could have carried back with him to WCW to be the money in the organization. Because Tully Blanchard Enterprises
Right.
was there. So, that was always kind of the kayfabe, industry, corporate behind the Horseman machine.
Right.
And Ted was hated in WWE. He had the star power.
Yeah.
People knew. Hell, he was on Lifestyles of the Rich and fucking famous, bro.
Yes,
he really was.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
To me, if they would have introduced him as the fourth horseman, that would have skyrocketed, man. That would have caught, because he was good enough to be in Tully's position. He would not outshine Flair, but man, he was a higher tier superstar.
He absolutely was, and I don't disagree with this at all. I like that choice.
And to me, man, it would be once again, this is a what if situation. We've already
Great tag team.
Dude, great tag team. He was coming out of a tag team.
Yeah.
He
Right.
was a tremendous singles wrestler. He held the world championship. Obviously he was under,
Right,
strange circumstances, but he did hold the title.
Right, and it had a really unique understanding of tag team wrestling,
Yes.
and just working in general. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, man, and he also had the psychology, dude. He knew how to get it. Bro, I don't give a shit what anybody says. The hottest thing I've ever seen in pro wrestling as far as getting straight heat is when he kicked that basketball out from that little kid. Dude, I bring that shit up all that pisses. I ain't gonna talk about it.
I'll tell you my favorite one is when he pulled that chick up out of the audience and had her get down on her hands and knees and bark like a dog.
Yeah, and she did it so sad. She was so sad.
And then he didn't pay her.
He didn't pay her.
And she just sat there
And
with
she
her
like
hand
she was
down
crying.
and on the stage in front of God and everybody to see. Just look at you hanging your head after you bark like a dog while we just fuck off and go back to the dressing
And then he asked Virgil, "Do you think I should give her the money?" Virgil's like, "No." What?
It wasn't the kiss my foot spot.
That one was rough too, man.
Or
Or
like
about when,
my foot spot was bad too.
what
But
about
I got
when they ate dog food? Was that wasn't the same one? No, that was a different vignette. But he did make somebody.
That was an angle that they did with a.
Well, he made somebody eat dog food, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he? Maybe I'm just thinking about barking
I
like
think
a dog.
you're thinking about.
Well, he made somebody kiss his foot. I remember that one.
Yeah, I remember that one. And then he had somebody.
The only thing that would have made that better if there was ketchup on that foot.
See, what are you doing? What are you doing to me?
Now, see, I know two of your biggest fears are just gross outs are ketchup and feet.
Yeah.
So you can do a good little mixture of
Well,
the two, buddy.
Thanks to
Even if you're stomping in the ketchup.
well, thanks to you fine people,
We're puds, bro. Call us puds.
I've and the rest of the boys in the MWF that once they found out, they loved to tease me about it.
No way.
And they would bring up prosthetic feet, and they'd pour ketchup all over. And I'm damn near throwing up. And look, wrestlers are horrible people.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I don't care if you're at the show or if you're at Howard's Creek. They're horrible people.
All right, let's talk about that, too.
That's David
All right,
Hayes,
'cause-
P.O. Box.
Well, we've talked about that, too.
They're wrestlers. They don't write letters. I ain't worried about it.
Who's going to write it for him?
At this point, we'd like to we'd like to talk about our sponsor, the MWF.
Yeah.
They'll be
We like
playing at Howard's Creek in 2 weeks. Can't
We'd
wait
like to
go
thank
out
them for all
and
their
see 'em.
support.
Yeah.
Thanks,
They
Todd.
know I'm giving them the business. They
Now,
know
let's talk about that, because we talked about that a few episodes back. That
Yeah.
he was a man that actually picked up vomit.
I did.
Yes, man, we got to call you on that.
Yeah.
That was gross, bro. That was
Not-
gross.
That was Smalley's.
It was Smiley's
Yeah.
party, and it was Chris Baker's vomit.
I was wondering if
Yeah.
you guys were going to bring that up.
But that's
Of
not the
course.
only time he's ever done that.
Yeah, I've heard of other times. That's the only time I saw with my own eyes. Yeah.
We had somebody. It was one of the after parties. One of the shows. I can't remember if it was just straight drinking or we were doing the milk challenge at that time.
Oh, jeez.
Was it
That's
the
kind
milk
of fuzzy.
challenge?
It may have been.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one of our female wrestlers.
Oh, yeah. I do.
We'll call her Miss JS.
Okay.
Okay. So she won. So she
Quote
thought.
unquote one.
So she thought, and she let go. And you were over beside of her, giving her the business, and picked up her vomit.
Oh, God.
And was showing it to her. It's like, look at this.
Oh, my God.
There was a pattern in my life.
I'm so goddamn nasty, man.
Don't see now. You realize if you dry heave towards me and you blow chunks on me, I am going to pick it up and
Give
show
it back.
Right
Give
to
it back to me.
Here, drop this.
Oh, God.
I'm literally crying over here, man. Did you lose something? My guts.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he was doing that to her. He's like, hey, look at
what
this.
you did. Look what you did.
Do you see this? Yeah, I did that. I picked up
God.
the vegetable soup that Chris Baker lost in Smiley's sink, and
This was after that epic elbow he dropped on Smiley. Do you remember that
I
elbow?
do remember that.
I'll never forget that shit as long as I
I
live.
feel like he chopped him a couple of times.
Oh, I'm
too.
sure. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, but that elbow off the kitchen table, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, Macho Man personified.
And so I had a habit of there was only just a couple of things that bothered me back then.
Feet and ketchup.
Feet and ketchup. That bothered me. It was other than that, I had a
Whose
pretty
turn
iron.
is this? Did somebody lose a turd?
I had a pretty iron stomach.
For real.
I remember the Chris Baker thing because I was making Baker throw up because he was leaning. I got him over to the commode and I'm picking the stuff up and I'm like, I need you to move your head for a second while I chunk this.
You missed, buddy.
Oh, God damn it, man. Let's talk about. All right, let's get back to.
I stuck it up to my mouth and I'm like,
I actually want to talk about Paul Roma now. Can we please get back to Paul fucking Roma, please? How about Jim Powers as a horseman? God damn, I had to change that subject, man.
I remember one time
Jesus.
Chris Baker threw up a Jim Powers action figure.
Well, I tell you what.
But I didn't touch it because that was gross.
That's too gross. I had a Jim Powers action figure that threw up. Oh, Jesus. Okay, guys, let's get back on track.
Nobody's going to listen to this
No,
one.
let me tell you this. Speaking of his action figures, I got a hold of some of his old LJN WWF action figures. I don't know, man. There was some stuff, with just looking at these figures, you can kind of, if you take and look at it and diagnose it, there might have been some troubles because these figures had staples in them.
Oh, I fucking had hardcore matches, man, back before hardcore was a thing.
I
They were
remember
mangled.
seeing some of those.
Yeah, man. I set Andre the Giant on fire one time.
I'm on fire. This may have been one of the early cries for something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they say, if you're torturing animals at a
Or
young age,
wrestling figures.
or you're putting staples into your LGN action
It was a
figures.
hardcore match, man. And I had the red Sharpie. Dude, everybody drew blood on my damn cards, man. I was ECW before ECW.
But set
was
him on
ECW.
fire.
I set Andre the Giant on fire, and I wish I didn't. I wish
He
I
went
still
to
had him.
Japan on this one.
I did, for real.
Oh God.
Well, man, I used to have scaffold matches, and I dropped, I think it was actually Andre, into the ring and broke the ring. I was like, fuck, I got a big crack in it, man. Ah, damn it. Motherfucker.
I hated scaffold matches.
Thank
I hate
you.
'em.
Thank
I
you,
hated
man. Me
'em.
too.
I
Me
still
too.
hate 'em.
I do
But
too.
when you were a kid, they were the most interesting. They were the most it was just like, wow, this
The
is
commercials
people could
were
die.
amazing.
Right. Well, that one was. I
Right,
mean,
right.
you know,
Yeah.
the
Well,
Road Warriors of Midnight.
Well,
yeah.
that's what I was saying. It's like the commercials because hell, I didn't have any money back then. I didn't get to go. I got to
Right,
go to
right.
Lincoln
Yeah.
Right,
to see wrestling.
Right.
Because you never paid.
Right.
Hey, everybody, Dogs is here. Well, everybody else paid $5. Yeah, I'll get you next week.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
talking about as
yeah.
a kid. It's,
Yeah, as a kid.
but
He didn't pay then either. No.
no, I didn't.
Yeah.
But no, it's the Skywalkers as the commercials. I was like,
They were
oh
badass.
my god! And
Like when they threw the pumpkins off the scaffold, and they
it
had Bobby
was-
and Dennis'
It was
name on it.
crazy until you actually see one, and you're like, oh,
looks good on paper.
well, this sucks. And this
yeah,
is a
yeah.
kid.
right.
This is
right.
baby Two Dogs talking.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
like, well, this blows chunks, man. This is awful.
Yeah, it's, I
Well,
thought,
don't feel bad about paying because this was practice Jason Finger did like a lot. He would charge the kids, neighborhood kids, to come over and watch WWF Superstars or Wrestling Challenge.
because I had the satellite dish.
That's right,
I had the
yeah.
satellite dish. Hey, man.
That's how we
promoted
got the
at a-
LJN figures.
I was promoting at a very early
the
age.
Staples, for that
and
matter.
the Staples,
Yeah.
man, and the Red Sharpie, man, and the matches. You know, when I said
went to
underground,
Walmart that day, and just like, all right.
that was actually Rose's back in. So,
Oh, there you go. There you go. See, we didn't have roses in Gastonia. We had Woolco's.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
man. Y'all weren't quite the same
No,
cosmopolitan
not,
as
not,
Lincoln.
no.
But no, this WWF roster, and there are only a few picks of mine from this roster because it's such an eclectic and just wacky roster. I mean,
Very wacky,
I
man,
mean,
yes.
let's take an example. Let's look at the '93 roster.
Okay.
Hulk
This is a
Hogan,
rough time for
Hulk-
WWE.
Yeah, it was.
Hulk
yes.
Hogan,
Yeah.
Obviously not.
Tito Santana,
No.
No.
the Brooklyn Brawler,
No.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
It would have got a hell of an impact, but
It
still,
doesn't. It can't sustain.
you can't
Yeah.
sustain it, man. No.
Jim Powers.
Sure.
Get the,
Sure,
get
fuck
the
it.
hell out of here. The Birdman, Coco Beware.
No.
Let's see, the Repo Man.
No.
Okay, Virgil. Why'd y'all get quiet?
I'm just sitting.
No,
over
I'm serious. Why'd y'all get quiet?
I'm just sitting over here all by myself.
Yeah, thank you. Trying to get me some fuck money. You know?
Hey, Hacksaw Jim Duggan,
Nah.
Big Boss Man.
Nah.
You know, it's
Is Bubba, man? I don't know, man.
No.
I could see him come in as a valet bodyguard, but then
Valet?
again, no, well, not valet,
Valet.
not valet. I mean bodyguard. I can maybe
like him to wear some sequin dress and.
Yeah, spray the Lysol and stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
there-
open the ring ropes up. You know, for Arn. You know, yeah, you know.
All right. Luke Williams and Butch Miller.
Obviously,
Bushwhackers.
not the Bushwhackers. No.
Well, y'all could do a podcast on those two
Alone,
for
which
sure.
we may do. You want to come
Yeah.
for that one?
Hell yes.
All right, man,
I
all
want
right,
to come for
man.
all of them. man.
All right, Typhoon,
Nah.
Earthquake,
Lord have mercy.
The Undertaker,
No.
no. It's just,
Brian Knobs,
Well, let
and
me ask
Jerry
you.
Sags.
Let's go back to the Undertaker. What if he was still Mark Callis?
No.
You don't think
no,
so?
no.
Okay.
Nope.
He
It would
was
been
the-
Sid Vicious all over again.
Yeah, good
yeah,
point. Good point.
He's,
Yeah.
he's too.
They
he's
are-
too big. He's
Yeah.
too scary.
You just were not a good
It's-
fit. It's Sid
Right.
Vicious all over again.
All right.
Yeah.
It would be. Yeah.
Let's see. Brian Knobs and Jerry Sags, the Nasty Boys.
not.
Horrible.
The Mountie.
No.
Not American. Can't
Skinner.
go with it.
Not Skinner.
Not Skinner. Skinner.
I like Skinner. I mean, you know.
Hey, Principal
Okay.
Skinner.
Leonard Skinner.
Skinner. Let's see. The Berserker. IRS Mike Rotunda.
Possibly. As of right now, the names you've mentioned is the only one that's really like possible.
Mike Rotunda. I don't hate the idea,
But I don't think it would be.
good tag worker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Great worker
Yeah,
in general,
yeah.
man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, he had the history.
I think
All
he,
right.
yeah,
You
had
know.
the history. I think him and I almost said Tully. Him and Arn would have
I think so.
gelled pretty well.
think so.
Probably could
I don't
have.
hate it.
Yeah.
But man, here's my thing. You know, you're at Flair for the Gold. You're at Slamboree 93. And now the Fourth Horseman, Mike Rotundo. Crickets. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I can.
Or
Yeah.
VK
as far as
or
your
VK Wall
charisma-
Street.
Or, yeah, for real, man.
Yeah.
Or Mike Rotunda.
No,
The same thing, D.
Nah, no.
You say Rotundo, I say Rotundo.
All right.
Let's
right.
call the whole thing off.
just screw it.
All right, moving on. Bo or Blake Beverly.
No.
Okay. Tatanka.
Come on.
I hesitated, man. No.
The Rocket. Owen Hart.
No, I don't, man. I don't see him as a horseman, man.
Right.
I just don't.
Okay.
Well, okay. At this point, he's been the Blue Blazer.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And he had a couple other weird jobber mask gimmicks that never really happened. If my timeline's right.
Not sure, but right, I got what you say. He's still fairly new as Owen Hart.
Like
he
was present, but
you didn't know it. You know, which I love the Blue Blazer. Let's give a
in
moment.
the beginning.
When,
for
when the
sure.
Blue Blazer
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
debuted,
Yeah.
and
I loved him,
I love the Blue
Yeah.
Blazer, dude. Yeah.
Barry Horowitz. Okay. Papa Shango. Crush. Fatu.
Jesus, man.
Samu.
Well, this is getting rough.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
man.
like it's a crazy time. Razor Ramon.
Ooh,
I think you could do something there.
brought him into Scott Hall. I mean, go ahead and start trying to do that
Not
realistic.
Vinny Vegas.
No, I don't see
Right,
that working.
right.
Scott Hall, possibly, man. I could
Maybe.
Okay.
maybe.
Okay. Bob Backlund.
Nah.
Okay.
Come on.
Yokozuna.
Come on now.
Doink the Clown.
Hell yes.
No.
Matt Bourne?
Oh.
Without question.
With Matt Bourne?
Without-
Matt Bourne?
Yeah,
Matt Bourne?
Matt Bourne. Yeah, I can see it happening. Not Doink, but
but really,
Matt Bourne. I think you could repackage him and throw him in a suit and.
I don't know.
Josh the Lumberjack. Big Josh.
Big Josh. Not the worst on the list. Definitely not the
It's
worst.
not the
but-
worst.
Not
Okay.
the worst, man. But yeah. I see where you're going though.
Yeah.
Repackage, yeah.
All right, Damian Demento.
Shit, yes.
Oh boy.
Wait a minute. I don't remember Damien Demento.
You really? He had like that
don't.
weird shoulder pad
puts work
thing going
together.
on.
Like
yeah,
a-
Puzzler. See if you
it's
can
like
pull up
one of
Damien
those weird,
Demento.
like Mad Max Road
Yeah.
Warrior type characters.
Why don't I remember
I
this?
actually kind of like that gimmick, to be honest with
The
you.
name
I really
sounds
did.
familiar, but I can't.
It was very short-lived, man. It did not get over like it should have. Oh well, maybe it did get over like it
there
should
you
have.
go.
I guess that's a matter of opinion. I like Damien Demento. I liked his look. But yeah, truth be told, man, let's pull up a picture of him where dogs can see here. People at home, I know y'all can't see, but let's pull-
yeah,
you see,
okay.
you remember this
Looks like
guy?
a human fly trap.
Yeah, he did, for real, man. Oh
I
shit.
do
Yeah.
kind of remember him.
But obviously,
Yeah, this
no.
was that weird era when they were just throwing shit against
Throwing
the wall to
shit.
see it
exactly,
stuck.
exactly,
Yeah.
man. A lot of shit too.
They had Battle Cat around this time too,
I
didn't
think they did, man.
Which
actually.
how long? That made it like 2 weeks. And
yeah. Do y'all remember the magician that showed up around about this
Yes.
time? You remember the magician?
Yeah.
I
Yep.
forget his name, but yeah,
Yep.
I think it lasted 2 shows.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Let's see who else we got up here. Maury Jannetty.
Man,
Too much like the Rock and Roll Express. I don't think he would have won.
you got to cut that hair, man. You got to cut that hair, and you got to
yeah, mate, or pull it back, mate.
maybe repackage. Hell, I think it would.
He was coming out of WWF, man. He was known. Shawn Michaels just did his
You
big
know,
turn.
now that I'm thinking about it,
Maybe, man.
he had just tried to jump through a plate glass window to get away from Shawn Michaels. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'm
Actually,
rethinking this.
He just didn't want to get his hair cut.
Right.
That's why he jumped through that window.
Because they were at the
Yeah,
barbershop.
the
Yeah.
barbershop, man.
Barbershop.
You know, yeah, man.
Bruce Beefcake.
Come on.
I don't hate it. I don't.
Whoa.
This
This is your Z-Man. This is your Z-Man.
Okay, see, now I heard you guys getting on Beefcake a few podcasts ago, and look, I'm
Dogs ain't having this shit.
You're a beefer.
Line in the sand.
I am a
You're a beefer.
a cakehead.
I am nothing if I am not a beefer.
Beef or a cakehead, man? Which one do you prefer?
Beefer.
Beefer. I'm gonna start calling you beef or cakehead. That's not a bad name, man.
Cake-head it is.
Cake-head it is.
I like Brutus Beefcake.
Really?
I do, man.
Oh,
And I liked him even better when he became the barber.
Oh,
Jesus God.
man.
All right.
Okay, moving on. Hey, man, he wasn't terrible.
He did
Okay, he was terrible.
not a strong worker,
Butcher?
but neither was Hogan.
The Butcher? The Zodiac?
The Zodiac, the Booty Man. Yes.
Booty Man.
Ooh, okay. Well, I didn't say he didn't have bad gimmicks.
I did like the Zodiac. Yes, no, yes, no, no, yes.
He had all the bad gimmicks.
He had every bad gimmick.
And
That
The
should have been
barber-
his gimmick.
the barber was good. I liked it.
I don't
and
know,
he wa-
man. But he had hedge clippers. They weren't even scissors, man. It's like, don't run with that shit.
He didn't run. He strutted.
He strutted. He did. You're
He
right.
He would strut and cut. He was saying he was all
Strutted
about
and cut.
safety.
He did.
Yeah, long Brutus, the lawn guy, Beefcake.
Yeah.
He had a
The landscaper.
Yeah,
no. He had
the flamboyant
his-
landscaper.
the trimmer.
he had his barber coat on. It was
That gimmick was all over the fucking place, man. You got it.
so wait a minute. So I'm a stripper, but I
barber.
but I cut hair
With hedge clippers.
So
Let's get him over to
well, I need some scissors for this.
Here's
It
some
was
hedge
like,
clippers.
What?
What?
Do we not have scissors? No, it's not in the budget. I was like, well, where do we get these? That is a guy named
gardener.
Julio out there that handed them to me. I just
Which I'm
handed them
surprised
to-
they didn't have a gardener gimmick.
You know, I feel like they did.
I
at
think
one
they
point.
might have actually at one
Oh,
point.
you'd have to go back to that Attitude Era with
Oh, with the Mexican dudes that would come in on the lawnmowers.
Oh,
yeah.
what was that?
It was a Juventud and all that. All
It was
those
Hoovy
guys.
and
That was shitty.
I think it was Ultimo Dragon, wasn't it?
I don't know if he was with those guys at the time or not.
I
Man.
know Ultimo Dragon was
Crazy.
there.
Super crazy.
Super Crazy was
in
there.
it, man.
Ultimo Dragon was there for a period. I don't know if he was in.
I can't remember if he was with
think
that
it
group or
faction.
not. Right.
Yeah.
I can't remember, man. But I mean, how fucked up was that? I mean,
Well, you know what? Look,
and that was like in 2003
Wrestling-
or 4. You know, I mean,
you know, a lot of people will say that wrestling is racist and has been racist, and you can make a decent argument for
decent.
no.
What?
Oh,
I
Right?
say
No.
that.
You mean the company
I
brought
say
us
that
crowd
wrestlers
time?
did.
Now listen, you.
They used what they saw.
Well, that's David Hayes at Longwall Productions. This is
That's-
the work, PO Box.
And you know, they didn't have to do it.
They got paid.
They got
They
paid
got
for it,
paid.
man.
They got
They got
paid.
paid.
They got paid, man. Moving on.
All right.
Let's see, where were we at? Bam Bam Bigelow.
I may have lost some listeners on that.
Or gained. Who knows? Who knows?
0.
A lot about Bam Bam.
Yeah.
I think it could have worked.
Yeah.
Do you?
No.
You don't think
It's
so?
not that it's
Really?
rough around the edges. I love Bam Bam.
Oh, I love Bam Bam, man.
He was white hot, man.
I think Bam Bam would have popped those motherfuckers if he would have came out in a tux.
He'd have popped tomorrow.
Right.
I think Bam Bam. No, it's still not my top choice. Probably not even in my top 3. But I think Bam Bam could have done it, man. I
As
really
an
do.
enforcer,
I do.
maybe. No, I can't even get behind
Can't do
that. No.
And I will say this, man. I don't know how well of a tag team unit he would have been in that Tully position.
He was a
with-
singles guy. He really
Right.
was. He
But
didn't
then
do a
again,
lot of
Tully
tagging.
and Arn really were too.
They were
for,
too.
the
but
majority.
they jailed as a tag.
They did.
team.
They
And,
did.
Yeah.
I've seen Bam Bam tag before, and it,
Was with the triple threat, I mean,
Right.
you know, and
Yeah.
with Shane Douglas, you
Yeah.
know, and I think Bam Bam could have been repackaged. I think he had the star power, the name recognition, and I think he had the work rate. Now, you know,
all of that on paper, it
on
looks
paper,
good.
on paper,
Right.
On paper,
Yeah.
this looks great.
But I mean, I'll give you that, man. Who knows? But I think Bam Bam could have possibly done it, man. I do.
You can't paint. You can't repaint that wall enough to make it work, though. I don't think.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely would be a unique choice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It would
Yeah.
definitely been a very
I mean-
outside the box choice.
I mean, at
you
this
know?
point, you just might as well throw Elegante in there and
Ooh.
let Bam Bam and Elegante be a tag team.
Well, at that time, Giant Gonzalez was on the roster.
He was on the roster, so there you go.
And a
that one
couple
patch
more
of
names.
hair and that one weird.
Oh
place.
Jesus, man! Who come up with that shit? Mr. Goodbody. He looked like Mr. Goodbody. He really did,
Big
man.
ass
That's
Mr.
brilliant.
Goodbody.
That's brilliant.
He looked like he ate Mr. Goodbody. Not talking about the candy bar either.
No, we talking about the
actual person.
Man. Boy, that was
That
a
was
tough
a
time.
rough
wrestling.
one, brother. 93 was just a bad year.
Yeah.
It really was a bad year.
Well, you had a few more. Scott and Rick Steiner. Definitely not a fit.
Not at that time. Really, I guess not at any time.
At that point, because this is before Scott went crazy.
Yeah, oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
Scott, maybe, man.
maybe.
I
I think we could have cut his hair and
put him in a
and
tux.
put him in a suit and
He had the ability.
Oh, they definitely had it.
But yeah, I don't. That one I'm a little bit on the fence.
Right.
Definitely better than Paul Roma. I
Yeah.
think
Definitely.
definitely better than Paul Roma. But
I don't know. No, I mean, would we be on the good side of history or the bad side of history if, let's say, we booked that and it happened? How's that going to turn out for us?
I think there's definitely better choices.
Like, would we
For
have
sure,
had?
For sure.
Would it have changed history? Like, would the newspaper article would say Arn Anderson was stabbed 20 times by Scott Steiner instead of Sid Vicious?
Vicious, yeah.
Right, exactly.
But you know, a lot of this show is actually would it change history? You know,
Yeah.
would these replacements would it have done that? You know, would it have brought WCW to the, especially '93, man, because they could have steamrolled WWF with the right choice for this Horseman.
Yeah.
You know. All right, who else we got here, brother?
Jerry the King Lawler.
Nah.
No. I'm down with that.
You really,
I'm down
really?
with- I'm down with Jerry Lawler. I think Jerry Lawler had the right
Nah.
package that would work for a Horseman.
I don't know, man. He had the recognition. He had the
He had
star
the
power.
recognition. Could work.
Could work his ass off, man.
Tag team.
Yeah, but I don't know if he had that Horseman it factor.
No.
You know, definitely.
I think he did.
Think so?
Yeah.
I'm a little.
You don't agree? You don't think so?
No,
Mike?
I don't
No.
think so.
No.
man.
Well,
I don't.
It's like putting Jerry Jarrett in there.
You know.
You know?
You
know.
I mean,
Shout out to Bruce Pritchard.
yeah. But let me come up with the names that are also on this roster that to me are just the more serious
Better
choices.
contenders. Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
We've talked about Ted DiBiase.
Right.
We've talked about Rick Martel.
Right.
Luger was there at that time.
Once again, man, I think that would have worked.
It would have been a big coup.
It would have been a
as
hell
far
of a
as
coup.
bringing him over and making that big impact.
Because he was really being pushed into WWE at this
Absolutely.
time,
Yeah.
man. That's when the Lex Express was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had the star power. He had the history with the Horseman. He was already a Horseman, man. He was actually the first non-original Horseman. You know, I think Lex would absolutely. I've become such a Lex Luger fan over the last couple years.
I
Really?
still not.
Really, I used to hate him, but man, I've grown to appreciate Lex Luger a lot these last few years.
Since I've gotten the network, I've been going back and watching some of the old stuff, and just Luger was just terrible. It's
Come on, man. I don't.
no, he wasn't. No, I'm sorry.
Come
I'm
on
exaggerating. I'm exaggerating.
Dude, him and
he wasn't
Nikita.
bad.
Him and Nikita put on some damn great matches, man.
He had Hogan syndrome.
Well, they were similar.
Like
Yeah. Damn it, Pudsworth. This
No,
is why
he had,
Pudsworth doesn't get a mic.
no, he had the charisma.
Sure.
You know, the ladies loved him. The guys wanted to be him.
Yeah.
Which is the magic combination, brother.
it
That's
is,
it.
it
That's
is.
the
I mean,
combination.
Just
That's
not a good worker.
No.
and it's not that he wasn't. It's not that I shouldn't say that. It's not that he wasn't good. He wasn't fluid, and a lot of times, stuff I've been watching, he looked like he was confused out there.
I was about to say he
Luger
definitely
was definitely like the first of the Botchamania
Yeah, yes,
pioneers.
yeah, and he definitely could not lead a match. He could be led.
And talking
He could
was
be led.
hard
Oh,
for
brother.
Luger
Brother.
too.
Like I say, I think like you said the other week, Mike, his steroids got in his tongue.
Yeah.
and he
And
couldn't.
just-
Every once in a while,
He
like,
would hit on some.
He would hit
Yeah.
like every fifth or sixth promo.
He'd hit.
He would hit a good one.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you could tell it was. You could tell when he did it because it was just kind of like,
damn.
Huh.
Well, it's almost like when you
Right.
worked a good match with Nikita. It's like, holy
Yeah.
shit.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Or
How about that?
or the match him and Dusty worked. Just we just talked about the other week at Starrcade. Hell, that's a damn phenomenal match, man.
I went back and watched that. It was good.
It's a good match, man.
Yeah.
Luger could be led. That's what I like about
And
Luger.
honestly,
He could be
that's
led.
that's all you need. As long as you've got
Our general in there.
as long as you've got a general, just somebody to walk you through
To
this,
lead
a
the dance.
Flair,
Yeah.
A Dusty.
Yeah.
Somebody to lead the dance.
like
Yeah.
a Luger Hogan match would just be the drizzling shit.
Well, no, man, I thought they did okay in WCW, man. I remember when Luger beat Hogan on Nitro that night, man. That was a solid. I thought a solid match. The response was solid.
All right.
When Luger beat Hogan that night on Nitro, brother, the fucking place went nuts. I went nuts, and I'm a Hogan mark.
Well, it was simplistic. That was the thing. It was simple. It was a very simple match. It was basically that Daniel Bryan, Brock Lesnar match that we saw at Survivor Series. It was simple. Nobody really did anything, but they just kept it simple, and they worked
And it
the
gets-
crowd
but
a little bit.
right,
It's-
right.
It wasn't so much about the wrestling as it was about the angle.
Right. And a lot of times in that old school, man, that's what it mostly did boil down to. A lot of times they just carry that angle over, man.
Right,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I think Luger would have been a good choice, honestly.
Yeah.
I really do.
For sure, the impact.
Yes, absolutely.
Couple more names. Bret Hart's on that roster.
I just don't see it, man.
It was been a big impact for sure, but I
Yes.
don't think it would have been a great fit.
I think the
At all.
response would have been what they wanted.
Yeah.
I do think that
'Cause Bret Hart was hot at that time.
Oh fuck yeah, man! And
Yeah.
he's coming from WWE.
Yeah.
It would have been a coup.
Yeah.
I think that response that I've been talking about a lot in this show would have absolutely happened. But what would have happened 3 weeks later? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I'm at with Bret Hart.
Right.
I think it would have fizzled
Yeah.
quickly, man. I really do.
This is where the entire world is going to get mad at me.
Okay.
Well, you're in the right place, brother.
I ain't never liked Bret Hart.
Okay.
Hey,
I
man,
never
I ain't mad
liked-
at you, brother.
I
Yeah.
never
I
liked
know.
him. When he got that world title, I was like, why? Why did this
Yeah.
happen? Is he going to be a Ronnie Garvin? Is he a transitional champion? It's like, what are we doing?
I
I
like
was
Bret.
actually
I like
happy
Bret, okay.
at that WrestleMania when Hogan got the belt.
Really, when he beat Yokozuna or whatever.
That was great.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I like Bret. I thought him and Shawn, man. To this day, those are that's one of my favorite matches, series of matches, I should say. When I saw Bret and Shawn in the ring, brother, dude, those were clinics, man.
Mechanic
Mechanical, yeah.
as a mid Carter, put that IC belt on it, put a U.S. title on it. It doesn't get any better.
Right,
Right.
right. Main
As
event,
as a
world
flag,
heavyweight.
No, he bores the shit out of me. And I'll be honest, I always liked the Anvil a lot better.
I love Jim Neidhart. Rest in
Then-
peace, man.
yeah.
I love Jim
I
Neidhart.
loved Neidhart so much better than Bret.
I always thought Bret was so good in the ring. That was his gimmick, but man, Bret's a mark. I mean, I don't know if y'all
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man! Anybody would take the belt over like a couple $100,000 a year. I mean, Kevin Nash was talking about that. Like he passed up like $200,000 just so he could stay the champion. They're like, "Well, we'll keep you on. We'll just keep the belt on you." Yeah, okay. I'm like, dude. I mean,
Now-
I hope Bret Hart's. Well, I hope he is listening to the podcast. That'd be awesome.
That'd be nice.
That'd be
nice.
great, man.
Now,
I hope I
having
get some
said
hate
all
mail
this,
from. Hey, Brett, that's PO Box.
now me having said all this, I think Bret would have been a decent horseman.
Think so? You think so?
It wouldn't have lasted
Right. The impact would have hit, man.
because Bret wouldn't want to do business.
He wouldn't want to be second fiddle to Nature Boy.
No.
And that's really, you got to be able to
Right.
do that to be in the Horseman, man.
Yeah.
You have to. That's why Piper, I don't think, would have made it.
And he's Canadian, and nobody.
Yeah,
needs
nobody
that.
wants a Canadian in the
Yeah.
Horseman. Come on, man. Except for Benoit.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Oh, the second one, or the last two names I have off of that roster, one was a Horseman. We've talked about the sore spot, Kurt Hennig.
Kurt Hennig, yeah.
Kurt Hennig, who I thought was
at that
an incredible
time.
at that time, and
At that
even
time.
even flash forward to the future, was a great pick as a horseman.
At that time, it
was,
was, man. It really was. It worked because of his and Flair's history, man.
and he screwed the pooch on it.
Bad, brother. You talk about.
Yeah.
We're going to do a podcast on drop balls and
Yeah.
wrestling one day. That one will definitely make the list.
And we just lost Kurt's dad here this week.
Just this
Yeah,
week
sure
to
did.
another,
Yeah.
unfortunate situation. I think at that time, especially with the Mr. Perfect gimmick, kind of fading out. You know what I'm saying? He'd been in the WWE for a while. I think it was getting a little stale-ish at this point. I think that would have been a hell of an impact, man. I think that would have been almost. I still think DiBiase is the best choice. That's me personally. I think Kurt Hennig, possibly top 3, man.
Yeah.
Definitely top 5 for me, maybe top 3.
Yeah.
There's very few wrestlers that you can put a belt, and I'm just talking about the aesthetic. You can put a belt on them, and it doesn't really matter what title belt it is. You can put a belt on them and just kind of step back, and you're like,
Yeah.
God, it looks like you were made
It
to
works.
wear
Yeah.
that.
Right, man. It fits.
Perfect had that.
Absolutely.
It's like, do you remember when he had that IC title?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
One of the
that-
best
And it
of all
was just,
time,
I was
man.
like, wow, that just,
Fits him.
it looks like
Suits
you've
him.
been wearing this.
Yeah.
Like it was made for him.
Yeah.
Like it was made, or he was made for that. You
Yeah.
know, for those belts. Absolutely. I think it'd have been a good choice, man. Absolutely.
Now, the last name I have on here would have made a huge impact, I believe, and would have been probably one of the best choices for the Horseman at that time, Shawn Michaels.
I don't know at that particular time, man. 'Cause
Shawn Michaels was that firecracker that
He
Tully
was.
was.
I give you that, and we all know where Shawn ended up. So
Uh-huh.
obviously, charisma, ability is not even a question.
All right.
I just wonder at that particular time, man, where was he on the roster, Mike? At this point, I know obviously he'd been healed.
All right.
Was he
I
in the-
see.
I think he was the rose-colored glasses version of Michaels. I think they were feuding with Razor at this time.
Okay. Was
Am I,
it
is my
Sherry?
timeline right?
Maybe
Could've
it was
been, yeah.
Sherry at this point.
It's either
Might have been,
it
yeah.
was either Razor or Kurt.
Right. So he was still coming up. I don't know. I think if it had been a couple
Because
years
I want to
later.
say they had that. I don't know if you remember this from the Raw. They had that this early Raw too. They had that outside street fight with Hennig and Shawn Michaels outside the arena in the street where
I
they
do remember
actually
that.
had
Yeah.
to get stopped and they didn't tell anybody about it.
Yeah.
And almost got arrested.
That's right. I do remember
I
that. Yes.
remember
Yes.
that, yeah.
I tell you, man, I think Shawn would have been a good Horseman. Here's my only, I guess, objections to it. For one, I don't know if the timing would have been that great yet. I think if it was 2 years later, damn near perfect. But here's my my biggest apprehension: would Shawn Michaels be able to play second fiddle to Flair, even
I
at
think-
this point?
I think that time definitely.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, man. I see Shawn. I think eventually they would have had a feud. I think eventually Shawn would be like, "No, I'm better than Flair."
Right.
Because Shawn, man, dude, I'm a huge Shawn Michaels
Right.
mark. Always have been, always will be.
Well, that was the pattern of the Horsemen to begin with. I mean, even going back to Luger.
Yeah, that's true. Even Tully, in a way, man, because Tully and Rick had their issues before
Yeah.
the Horsemen formed,
Yeah.
And some people have even theorized that if Tully would have come back, that they would have eventually had a world title series,
Right.
Shawn, man, I put him up there. I put him up there. I still think Ted's my number one. Shawn maybe is in my top 5.
Okay.
Possibly. What do you think, dog?
I'm gonna put Michaels in my second spot.
Second.
Now that I've had a chance to dwell on it, just because I think I agree with Mike. I think Michaels could play second fiddle,
Right.
but something that was very interesting about Michaels is he was always evolving.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
that was
Yeah.
something that the Horsemen needed to do, but couldn't.
I give you that, man, and I
I think Michaels could have pushed them forward if the company, the writers,
if they gave him that
if
opportunity.
the Horsemen would have allowed themselves to be pushed forward and evolve.
Right. I would almost see a Rock Nation of Domination situation arise with Shawn Michaels and the Horsemen. I would see Shawn rising just above.
Odd choice.
But you see what I'm
it's
saying,
an odd
though.
comparison
But
to
you see
make.
what I'm saying? Whereas The Rock was like second fiddle, supposed to be a
Mm-hmm.
secondary character, then obviously blew up and over. Now, granted, man, Ric
Yeah.
Flair and Farouk are not on. I don't.
He would fall by the wayside. I see what you're saying.
Now, like
I
I said,
agree.
man, I can't put Ron Simmons and Ric Flair totally, even though I think Ron Simmons is great and legendary, iconic even. I don't know if I would put him over Flair as far as that goes. In other words, I don't know if you could ever get that far over on Flair. But I do think, man, that Shawn could have maybe
I think
outgrown,
you can. I
outgrew
think
the
you
Horseman.
can.
I think he would outgrow the Horseman.
I think if they had tried that, it's like I feel like if the Horsemen had always been the Horsemen and they would have stayed with Crockett,
Right.
I think eventually, as Tully aged and
Right.
matured, and
Kept growing.
I think he might have started to get up to Flair level. I don't know if he'd have surpassed him. I think you got to have a Shawn Michaels for that.
Right. In other words, man, Shawn was going to be the shit no matter what. No matter
that
where
was
he
gonna
entered,
happen.
that was
It's-
happening,
yeah.
man. He was just too good and got it too good to not be a legend.
Right.
Which he is, and we've seen.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, brother, you got any other picks here or any other names we want to talk about?
Well, I think that pretty well covers the '93 for sure. I'm as far as my picks for who would have been a good, it comes down to three: Austin, Hennig, and Shawn Michaels.
Really?
Yeah.
Man? Who's your top three for this?
I think I'm still down with Rick Rude.
Rude. That's
Rude
a
is
good
number
man.
one.
Okay.
That's not a bad.
Michaels is number two, and I think Ted DiBiase is probably number three.
Number three.
All right.
I got to say, man, number one obviously is Ted DiBiase for me. Number two, man, I'm going with Luger. I think Luger would have been a good one. Number three, God, man, I don't know. I'm torn between Shawn Michaels and Rick Rude. I'm really torn, man. Both of those are such good choices. I think at the time, I was slightly.
You always know it's going to be weird when he starts to preface it at that time.
I lean a little bit more toward Rude.
Okay.
Just slightly.
Okay.
I'm talking slightly.
Right.
But I do think Luger, man, given his history, given his where he was in the WWE, being pushed so hard with the Lex Express and all that good stuff going on, the USA stuff going on, bringing him back, joining the original group. Damn it, man. I think that'd been awesome. But I think Ted DiBiase would have got it across the board. I think that would have popped the crowd.
Right.
Holy shit, we know him. He's from up north. You know, I think that's what they were trying to do with Paul Roma. They're like, hey, this is a WWE guy. You know what I'm saying? They didn't come right out and say it, but I think that's what they were trying to go for.
But it's that WWE guy.
That's what I'm
you know,
saying.
it's
That's what I'm
it's-
saying.
what-
Yeah,
There were better
exactly.
choices.
The best thing he did was
absolutely.
Power and Glory, and
That was Jim Powers, man. That was Jim Powers and Hercules.
was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was Paul Roma.
No,
and
Paul
the
Roma.
Young
The
Stallions.
Young Stallions were Jim Powers and Paul Roma.
Yeah,
Right,
but I
right.
thought Power and Glory was Paul Roma, and am I wrong?
No, yeah. Power was Hercules, and Glory was Jim Powers.
Oh shit! Here we
Oh
go.
shit!
Oh, we may be getting this mixed
It
up.
is Jim Powers.
You're certain it's Jim Powers.
Yeah, no, I'm not. No, I'm not.
I think
man.
it's Paul Roma.
Let's find out, man. Power, Glory, WWF. Let's find out.
I want to say you're right. Though.
I think, man.
I think it was Paul Roma and
it was
Hercules.
Paul
it was Paul Roma.
Look at me knowing
Holy
stuff.
shit, man. That's
Yeah.
why you're
God
here.
damn, this is a work, you motherfuckers.
Managed
Talk one up
by,
for this to work, man.
managed by the Doctor of Style. Slick.
I'll be damned,
Executively.
man. I think what it got me was the power. The power
Yeah.
part threw me off. But yeah, man, you're right. It was Roma. I'll be
It's
damned, man.
look, it's an easy mistake.
I
to
mean, Jesus
make.
Christ,
I mean,
man. I mean, really.
mean-
Holy shit. You fucked up
you
Jim
know.
Powers and Paul Roma. Get out of here, you
What
piece of
kind
shit.
of a
Fucking
monster?
Mark. You fucking
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah. But no, he would go on after the Horsemen to do Pretty Wonderful
That's right.
with Paul
Paul
Orndorff.
Orndorff.
did
That's
do
right.
that,
I forgot about
Yeah.
Well, this just got worse and worse.
Dude, it's
Oh,
devolving.
yeah.
It is devolving.
It's a shit fest, I tell you that.
Woo. Well, guys, let me ask you. Kind of taking it back to the beginning. Can we all agree on one particular wrestler? If we had to be, if we're the bookers, we're the three bookers, man. We got to pick one out of all these people. Do we have one that we could absolutely agree on? Now, we're not going to do this like a real booking. If we can't figure it out, we'll just say fuck it.
Fuck
We're
it.
not, but can we?
I'm gonna go ahead
We're
and
not
say
going to
fuck
do it
it.
like the old days.
I'm gonna go ahead and say
you
fuck
just
it
want to say
right
fuck
now.
it now.
Outvote me.
Yeah, just say fuck it.
Boy, there was a lot of that.
I do say Ted DiBiase obviously has my number one, but I think can we go with Rude?
I think the majority says with Rude.
Rude.
I do not. I love
don't
this.
hate it,
I
man.
love this.
I don't
I
hate
think
it, man.
Rude
Yeah.
would have. You've got the aspect of Luger. I
The
think
name
you got
power?
you got the speed of Tully because
Yeah.
he was
He was fast.
He was
Yeah,
faster.
Yeah. No, he was a
For that
technician,
guy
man.
back then.
They were both technicians. I
Yeah.
think Tully was a better technician.
Oh, much better, much
You
better.
know.
But there was charisma there too.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
And I
but
think
not
it would have been
enough.
a great
And I don't think it was enough to overshadow Flair either.
No.
Maybe be on par.
Good on
Right.
the stick.
Yeah.
Tough as fucking nails in real life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
And and something that's big, he knew his place.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Rude have been good. Shawn Michaels, man, I could see that too.
I still say Austin would have been.
You really
I think
go,
Austin
go,
would
go
have
with
been
Austin.
fantastic as well because
Great.
Austin
Right
also
spot.
knew his place,
And-
and I think he would have been
And we know what.
thrilled.
Right.
And we
to do that.
he would have damn worked it, man. Like
Oh
probably,
yeah, he's like, are you kidding me? A
Yeah.
horseman?
I think of all the people we have talked about, Steve Austin would probably be the most appreciative and
Yeah,
probably
for
put
sure.
it over the most.
Definitely,
I'll give you that,
definitely,
man.
yeah.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
know, in fact, man, I may have to drop. Jesus, see, okay, we're just gonna say fuck it.
Fuck it. Fuck it.
Never happened.
Hell, man, we're already pushing 2 hours.
Let's go back out of our dream state.
Yes, man. Yeah, right. Well, guys, man, I guess we're going to start kind of wrapping it up here.
Yeah, we might as well.
Go ahead and start putting
We've done
up.
We
enough
can't
damage.
actually wrap up until I get
Uh-oh.
Two Dogs, David Hayes, on a top three.
Gotta do
Oh,
it. Gotta
hell,
do
I
it, man.
forgot
3
about top
threes,
three.
bro.
Okay.
Top threes.
We got 3s of them, brother.
All right. Here we go.
Lay it on me.
Top 3 horsemen.
Top 3 horsemen. Now, is Flair just a given or?
No, all time.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well,
then,
does this include Flair, Tully, and Arn?
Everybody.
Well, hell, there
Yeah.
your top
That's
3.
my
yeah.
top 3.
Top
Yeah,
three.
without question.
Flair.
Flair, Tully, and Arn.
What about with not those 3?
Okay.
Not those 3.
Keeping
Ooh.
those 3 out.
Okay. Malenko,
Okay.
Wyndham,
Absolutely.
Barry,
Yeah, right. Didn't even think about Kendall.
and yeah, I got to go Benoit.
Benoit.
Even
All
though
right.
Okay.
those two
Yeah.
were God, I was so frustrated during that time.
I know, man. They
They used to just. I was like, you're so close to being a horseman.
I know.
Just,
If they'd have just gave it more time
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
take off, man.
but yeah, that's I got to go with those. Yeah.
All right.
Good choices, man.
Okay.
Good calls.
Top 3 barefoot wrestlers.
Oh,
How
shit.
dare you?
Perfect, brother. That's perfect, man.
This
Perfect,
is where Mikey
perfect,
turns
perfect.
into a son of a bitch.
That's perfect, man.
So,
God damn it, man.
well, I'll tell you what. I hate a barefoot wrestler. I hate them. I hate them so much.
That's perfect, Mike. God damn, man. This is
Yeah,
awesome.
you're a horrible person. See you in hell. All right.
See you in hell.
All right. Well, you got to go Samoan SWAT team. Was it Alpha and Sika?
Yeah. So is that 2? Yeah, are you counting?
That's
No,
two,
that's
yeah.
one.
That's just
one.
one, just
that's
one.
just one.
Yeah, well, that's a unit, brother.
That's a unit.
That's a unit, man.
Oh.
That's a unit.
Okay. God, well, that's 4 then. This is a Mount Rushmore. Okay, so Alpha.
That's a Feeton. That's not an actual.
Jesus.
Alpha.
Getting through this
Sika.
podcast is a feat.
Tonga Kid. No, you know what?
What about
Scratch.
Prince Ike?
Scratch Tonga Kid. Haku.
Okay.
I guess I got to go with Von Erich.
I was going to say, you got to say Kevin, man.
I was about
That
to
was
be,
my
be
top.
mad.
That was, yeah, me too. I was like, come
Even
on,
though
man.
it bothered me.
Right.
Just every time he walked out there, I'm like, put some goddamn
Put some shoes on.
What's this?
You're Von Erich. I know you got the money.
You're going to get stickers in your feet. What are you?
Put some shoes on, hippie.
What's wrong with
Dirty
you?
motherfucker. Put on some shoes.
No snooker.
Oh.
I don't like murderers. No.
Holy shit.
You've got one in your horseman.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
God damn it, man. Jesus Louise.
Well, I can't get my way out of that one.
Nope. You're in. You're in now.
I think that was Kevin
Good luck.
Sullivan.
Okay. Oh my God.
No.
Well, to next week, I have a good one.
Yeah, no, Snuka. I was. Snuka came in at when he came back from his drug interaction.
Right.
He was a lot older. He was
Right.
moving a little slower, and he was exciting for about a minute, but I lost interest.
Gotcha.
So yeah, he never hit on the high note for me.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. All right. Last one. Top 3 condiments.
Trojan. No, I'm just.
I never
That's
wear.
I don't
Condiment.
wear condiments.
That's condiment.
Well, it's got to be mustard. Spicy Dijon mustard.
Okay.
And
Grey Poupon.
yeah. Well,
Well, could you please pass the Grey
I-
Poupon?
He's cultured.
well, because I love Grey Poupon because I've always wanted to
pull up beside somebody in a car. And
well, not only that.
You just
If
like to
I
say
saw-
poop on.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
Poupon.
because I want to hand somebody some bread that's using Grey Poupon, and I was like, "Would you poop on this?"
God damn it. God damn it, man. Fuck. All right, man. So that's one.
Yeah, that's one.
That's one.
And regular mustard.
Okay, so that's two. That's two. Okay.
Does that
And,
count? That
count,
doesn't
man.
count. Mustard's a mustard, right?
No, there's spicy mustard, and then there's regular
Yeah,
mustard.
I like. Yeah. And then there's honey mustard, man. Yeah.
I don't like honey
You don't
mustard.
like-
That's for miscreants.
Puzzler just got pissed, man. That's a big thing over in England, bro.
I know. That's why I'm proud to be an American.
Goddamn right.
Poupon's big over there. It's just a different
Different
thing.
kind of poupon.
Yeah, poupon.
It's an English muffin. It smells like.
I don't really have a third one, so I guess I got to go with ranch.
Narrow down
Hey,
that.
ranch is good.
Yeah.
Narrow down that Germany way.
Oh,
Yeah.
What now?
And I don't really have a third one, so I got to go with ranch.
ranch is a condiment. I like
Ranch is a condiment,
yeah,
definitely.
absolutely, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
probably
you
my
had
top.
what? Mustard?
Spicy mustard.
Spicy mustard.
And then
I still say that's one.
I don't know, man. I give it.
Yeah,
do you have
yeah.
a third, man? Do you have a third just to move this shit along?
Texas Pete.
Okay, hey, there you go.
There you go.
There
See
you go.
that? Yeah, that's
There
for
you
real.
go.
That's to itself.
That,
definitely.
Yeah.
Yep,
I
that
know.
works, man. All right, well, brothers, we are getting there toward the end. Mike, one thing I wanted to ask you about, brother, here at GameSwap. You guys are still doing all the donation, like for the toy drive for the Christian Ministries. You guys still
Yes.
got all that going on? And,
Yes.
You know, let's tell us a little bit about that, brother.
We've got our donations. We're collecting for the Christian Ministries for food and toys. We're also doing the collections for the hats, the helping animals to survive.
Right.
Doing the collections for the dog food, the cat food, and also we're doing the fundraiser for the Amy's house.
Right.
That'll
Is that the
be
naughty
going.
list? Is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're doing the naughty list for that. $5 to get on, $5 to get off. Put anybody you want on there, and that all this will be going on till December 21st. I want to say December 20th, December 21st.
Cool.
The naughty
Yeah.
list sounds like a lot of fun.
It's
It
a hell of
is.
a
Yeah,
concept,
yeah.
man. That is an outstanding concept, brother.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was a lot of fun. We got a lot of names up there so far, so hopefully we can fill it up a lot more.
Right, man. And it's still early in the month, so we still have a little while to go.
Yeah.
Well, $2, you got anything you like to say, brother, before we start wrapping it up?
Yeah, can I make a plug?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Man,
Not the one you did earlier in the toilet.
No, don't plug the toilet
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
no, that was a load. That was. I guess this is going to make it a little more difficult.
He already
And
did a
now-
poop on.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm.
That's why you call it $2, man. You mark your territory everywhere you go.
No, I want to plug my company that I'm working with, Free Reign Theater.
Okay.
It's we're a nonprofit organization. We're 501c3 certified, and
That's
our
cool.
next we're starting our season in 2019.
Okay.
We're taking submissions for different plays, directors, and actors. So if you're interested in doing that, it's a great cause. We do a lot of good stuff for the Rock Hill community and the Charlotte community.
Perfect.
You hit us up. You can get us on Facebook at Free Reign Theater. You can hit our website at freereigntheater.com. You can also get us on Twitter and Instagram, Free Reign Theater. And also, I always have to give a shout out to my boys at Long Walk Productions. Man, they do
Absolutely.
such good work.
Absolutely.
They help they help us out with This Is a Work. And I can't put them over enough. They do such good work and help us out so much.
And if anybody's out there has not checked that PUDcast that. I always get pod and pud mixed up, man. God damn it. You really got to do yourself a favor. Check you guys out, man. I love how you guys break down these pay-per-views, how you know, man, and you and Chris Barnes have a great banter. You know, you guys have great chemistry together, dude.
I wish he could have been here
I know,
today.
man. We got to get him up here, man. We got to get him up here in the cave as well. And like I said, if you haven't checked out This Is Work, do yourself a favor. Get on that and get on that now. Get on it now. Also, Sweet Feathery Jesus, once again, got to give those guys a shout-out to E-Man. It does not stand for post-urinary.
Yeah, drip.
Right now.
At the moment, but like I said, it very well could. It very well could.
Drip.
I do know what it stands for.
But you're not. But yeah. But we're not going to tell.
I'm going to tell. I'm going to tell them. I'm going to tell them right now.
Zzz, you know,
Don't you do it?
Yeah. Well, I can edit this
Don't
shit
you
out.
do it?
I'll edit the motherfucker out. And I also edit out your plug, motherfucker. If you do that, I'll edit out the
How
whole
dare
thing.
you?
And speaking of plugs, man, I want to put over WTAUP Rich Nation. Dogs, you got to check that guy out, man. Papa Jack, our buddy
Right
here in
on.
Lincoln, man. Some of the bands.
The
we've been-
music's jamming, dude.
Dude, I'm telling you, everything that we played on here, we've only played 2 songs, but the 2 songs we've played, man, I got it through WTAUP Rich Nation. Man, Mike, Papa Jack.
What's that last one you played?
My bike, man, by the
Yes.
back. These are not the shit.
My
Bike, dying on alone on a Saturday night. Man, dude, that song got in my head, brother. It is
The riff on that is
tremendous.
That is some old school
It
rock.
is,
right there.
man. It's, and those guys are. It's actually one guy.
Yeah.
And he's out of North Carolina. Is it 2 guys? Is it 2? Okay, see, I don't never do any research, man. I just know the song's fucking jamming. That I do know. I know that 100%, man. That song on my bike is the shit, man. That's why we had to play it.
Right on.
But yeah, man, if you want to hear more songs like that for more independent artists, check out WTAU Rich Nation with Papa Jack. Also, we gotta give a shout out to Clint Mephisto. Am I saying that right, Mike?
Yes.
With the shit kicking radio show, Radio Free Satan. Check those guys out.
Roadshow.
Roadshow. Sorry. God damn it,
Yeah.
man. I don't write anything down either. Who else, man? The Midnight Driving with Garrick Lane. Been checking those guys out. Dude, I know you remember Garrick. from back-
Garrick, man, man, we were boys.
Yeah,
man.
but Garrick's a good guy. Have
We
you?
worked third shift together.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Did you?
Palace.
Have you ever checked out his podcast, Midnight Drive-In?
I have not.
It's good.
What, Midnight Driving?
Drive-In. I'll send you some links. We'll put some
Send
links
me
up.
some links. I want to check him out.
It is
man.
great,
He's-
man. Those
He's a
guys.
good cat.
Yeah, man. And dude, that show is fucking phenomenal, dude. I'm catching up with some episodes. I got a little slack on it, so I'm catching up on some episodes. And obviously, man, I got to give a shout out to the Millennium Wrestling Federation. If I do get this podcast uploaded by today here on Saturday, their show is canceled tonight. So if I do get it up tonight. Don't go to the show. If I get it up tomorrow, well, who gives a shit? You already either win or not.
Don't go to the show.
already
Don't
been
go
disappointed.
anyway. Yeah, don't go anyway. You know. But anyway, guys, dogs, this has been fun, bro. Thank you for coming down, man.
Man, thank y'all for having me. I am
Absolutely.
such a fanboy of this of the podcast. Every week, you know what? Let me just side note for a second.
Oh shit.
I'll keep it short. You know, as on Facebook, everybody's
No,
been
he
doing
won't.
3
their-
hours later.
No, he won't.
No, you won't. Here on Facebook, you know, during the November, everybody's doing this is my 30 days of giving thanks,
yeah.
and everybody says, well, I'm thankful for my family, and the thing is, mine aren't quite that sappy. I am thankful for the podcast.
Hey, man, I dig that,
because
bro.
That's pretty sappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty sappy.
That is, yeah. That's
well,
a 10 out of 10
the
on tap.
podcast, it honestly, it keeps me sane at my job. While I'm listening, I was like, well, Jason and Mike can keep me from murdering these two morons.
Our work here is done, Mike.
Right.
We save lives, man.
Well,
we
hey.
literally save lives, brother.
Yeah, and they have no idea that you have saved their lives.
Just tell them to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Dawes, thank you for your support, man. I know ever since we
Absolutely.
got
That was-
started, brother, you've been there. You've gave us nothing but props, man, putting us over, and man, we appreciate.
Well, I
that,
appreciate
brother.
you saying that.
That's cool.
That was the best $50 we ever spent.
Ever,
Oh,
man.
absolutely.
Well, I thought we was gonna be able to get it for 40, and hell, motherfucker held out, man.
I wish
you
you wouldn't. I wish you wouldn't have wrote me a check because
Oh, boy, I'm glad. Yeah, wait,
this thing looks rubber.
Oh,
No,
boy.
it's good.
Oh, that son of a bitch
It's
will
good.
bounce to the moon, bro.
It's good.
It's good, man. It's good. Just give it a couple days.
No.
It's postmarked, man.
Yeah.
Post dated.
that.
It's post dated for 3 years.
There is no December 29th this year. It's
Yeah, there is.
no was
It's the 32nd.
And it's not even this year.
It's December 32nd, bro.
Yeah.
That's why we put it down as.
You're welcome.
This is right for 3 years ahead of time.
Never know what's going to
With
happen.
inflation, dude, it'll be
You
worth
never
like, $50.
You never know what's going to happen.
That's what I'm saying, man. We're looking out for it, man. It's an
Yeah.
investment. It's an
Your
investment.
future.
Can I borrow some gas money to get home?
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. Pudsworth, take care of
Pudsworth,
the
take him
man.
home.
Take
Take
care
him
of
home,
the man.
Pudsworth. And until then,
Speaking of plugs, speaking of big plug,
Pudsworth.
Pudsworth, hey,
How you doing today, Pudsworth?
How you doing, you son?
And on that note,
Yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Well, if you guys don't have anything,
Can I do it with you?
which part?
The sign off.
Yeah, man. Go ahead. Don't forget to go ahead, man. I fuck it up every week, dude.
Okay.
I never
Oh,
rock
God.
it. You say it, dogs.
All right. For Ian Pudsworth, Mike Payne, and Jason Finger, this is David Two Dogs Hayes saying, empower, inspire, and elevate.
And if you're feeling in your gut,
Get up and move your butt.
Y'all have a good one.
sunset flip.
Ah!
And not only that, David, I understand we're right at the end of our program.
No, we have got to
This
go.
has been a great event.
There's some people out there that hate us for this.